to firmly secure sovereignty at the border as the onslaught of illegal immigration has been stopped under Trump. The U.S. Supreme Court just decided the president does have the authority to end temporary deportation protections, or TPS, that's a program, for millions of foreign nationals living in the United States. The Department of Homeland Security was trying to end the TPS program for more than 6,000 Syrian and some 350,000 Haitian immigrants, along with those from other countries. Justices also decided that the administration can restart a policy allowing Customs and Border Protection to curb the number of people that they let in who are seeking asylum at the border between the U.S. and Mexico. Both of those decisions went 6-3 in terms of how the justices voted. Let's dig in deeper. This was such a huge issue for voters and really put President Trump on his first term on the map for setting up even more to come. And now in a second term, we're seeing it. Shannon Bream is with me, chief legal correspondent and anchor of Fox News Sunday. And Jonathan Turley is here, Fox News contributor and constitutional law attorney. Jonathan, I come to you first on just what kind of victory we're talking about and how this does further that anticipation and the reason why so many people voted for Trump about securing our border.
This was a bonanza of a day for the Trump administration, particularly on immigration. The court here reversed lower court judges that some of us had criticized for usurping what are largely executive orders. What's particularly telling in the case involving the border is that the Biden administration had lifted a policy called metering that was put into place by the Obama administration. That's how far the Biden people went in trying to facilitate people entering the country. That policy was then reinstated and expanded by the Trump administration. And the issue here is, are you really in the United States if you're not, if you're on the other side of the border? And the dissent really comes across as almost Clinton-esque, as saying, well, it depends what the meaning of in is.
Oh, boy.
And, you know, you don't have to be actually in to be in the country.
Shannon, you know, when you take a look at just the numbers of people, I want to toggle to the TPS program now, that temporary protected status. This is something that, again, that DHS has been trying to deal with because there's so many people here under that protection. What does this do?
Yeah, essentially it says that the current administration, now that could be a Biden administration, it could be any administration, a Trump administration, that they have the power to make a decision about when to end temporary protected status. There were two different groups at issue here, Haitian refugees and Syrian refugees. And one of the claims by those supporting the Haitian refugees is that this was somehow race motivated. The court did not find enough evidence of that, saying you can't walk forward with an equal protection charge or any of these other claims because you haven't shown that race was an animus in this case, and finding a lot of power for whoever is running the current administration or the current DHS to make these decisions about when that temporary protected status should end. It was a very heated argument when they had it. But again, as you said, it's a 6-3 decision today, a big win for Trump.
All right, talk to me about the 6-3. Because both of them were 6-3 decisions. Talk to me about who in the room and how they saw it and why victories today for Trump. Shannon.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't be surprised that these decisions are essentially along party lines. Now, there's a little bit more fracture to the TPS decision. There's some concurrences and different things going back and forth. You know, but what we saw during the arguments actually bled over into a little bit of what we saw from the bench today. Because when they announce these opinions, the author of the majority opinion will make a statement, read and kind of summarize from the bench. The dissent is free if they want to, and they don't always do this. They're free to read as well. It got so heated in one of these decisions, Justice Alito read the majority, Justice Sotomayor read her dissent, that after she read her dissent, there was this unprecedented thing in that Justice Alito then kind of rebutted what she said. Wow. I've never seen that happen before. It shows you just how tense things are.
Wow, to be a fly on the wall. All right, now, we are still waiting on some major decisions. I know, right? And you guys have seen all this up close, but the rest of us are just saying, that sounds interesting. We are still waiting on major decisions on protecting girls and women in sports against men who identify or boys who identify as women and girls, respectively. in public spaces, private spaces, competing against them, locker rooms, bathrooms, that sort of thing, and birthright citizenship. Set us up for what's ahead, Jonathan.
Well, we're all, of course, waiting those. We also did get a major gun decision today. Hawaii lost its so-called vampire law effort, which was a major win for the Second Amendment, again showing that blue states are proving to be the greatest allies to the NRA by pushing these ill-considered laws that expand Second Amendment rights. So this was a big win. Now, on birthright citizenship, the administration is really at a disadvantage, in my view. The odds do not favor the court overturning that long-standing precedent. On the transgender cases, I think the states have an advantage themselves. The justices seem prepared to support their effort to limit these sports to your biological gender. But these are all cases that they have to work out the details, so things can change in conference. We've seen major cases where justices that seemed on one side switched in the very end. But that's really where the predictive odds are, I think, right now.
You know, in covering this really cultural divide right now that we're in over boys and girls and men and women in sports, Shannon, one of the things that we've seen happen, and, you know, you don't know if one thing is kind of affecting the other, is that you've got the Olympic board, you've got other entities saying, yeah, we're going to just look at the science in this. We're going to look at, you know, what really drives this more just kind of away from the cultural and the opinions. Does that take over? Does that affect the U.S. Supreme Court?
Well, there's always a conversation about what the science says. So those who are challenging these laws that say if you're born biologically male, you cannot participate in these female leagues and sports programs, they said, well, the science isn't settled about exactly what happens. They're arguing that if you have not gone through puberty, if there have been puberty blockers and those kinds of things, you're not going to have the same advantages. The folks on the other side, West Virginia and Idaho, who are backing these laws and passed them at their state level, said, no, there's a demonstrable fact here that bone density, muscle health, small twitch fibers, all of those things are going to benefit somebody who was born biologically male. I agree with Professor Turley that I think those probably will be wins for the states. We'll have to see. We've got a couple of election cases, too. How many days past Election Day can you count mail-in ballots? That's a big headline, too.
That's a huge question right now. And if we're going to just look at California real quickly as an example, how long did we wait? And that was a primary.
Actually, you're still waiting in California. I don't think they're done counting as of yet. So today, boys and girls, we're going to go back to, I don't know, grammar school, and we're going to define a couple things before we begin. And this one is courtesy of the letter T. Temporary means temporary. I know. It's tough for people to understand. It's tough for people to digest that the word temporary means temporary. You see, what the Democrats have done, as I've mentioned with undocumented and progressive and Democrat socialist, they have used the vocabulary of Americans as a weapon. And nothing more clear than temporary. Every single person, you don't even have to be an American, every single person knows what temporary means. Oh, it's not going to stay? No, it's temporary. It's going to go away. It's not going to be here forever. Democrats don't understand that concept. Supreme Court today explained it to them. And then you get the other big win, is that they were considering anybody who made it to the border to be seeking asylum. And they said, nope, that's not how it works either. And then you get the next big one that may come up is in terms of boys, what's a boy, what's a girl, which every single one of us have known since the time, I don't know, even before we went to kindergarten. Boys have peepees, girls got vajayjays. I mean, it's very simple. You could ask the youngest of kid, what's a girl and what's a boy? And they may not know the scientific, but they're like, that's a girl. Okay, that's a boy. Very simple. And this crazy world that we now seem to be in, where things as they appear are not as they appear. it makes people crazy, which is probably why we have so many stupid Democrat socialists. It makes absolutely no sense. But today, I mean, we may lose the birthright citizenship. That's a possibility. We don't know how that's going to go. Would love to see it, but it's going to be a tough road for everything to happen. Not really sure how that's going to work, but can we bask in the reality of today's huge wins? Excuse me. Let me take you through the wins here. All right, so just to recap, this was the second of the big decisions, 6-3, which those three are never, ever going to side with Republicans. Not going to happen. Sotomayor, Kagan, and DEI Jackson. Supreme Court ruled that asylum seekers standing in Mexico have not, quote, arrived in the United States. Duh! If you're standing in another country, you would think that'd be a very simple thing to say. Well, you're not here. You can't claim asylum. You're on that side of the fence. But again, simple definitions that we have, the Democrats didn't have. Oh, it's close enough. It's like horseshoes. They're close to the United States. Let them stay. No, they're not here. It's a shame that we've had to go to the Supreme Court to determine what being on the other side of the fence actually means. It's a shame we had to go to the Supreme Court to redefine temporary. When every single person, again, you don't even have to be an American, everybody knows what temporary means. But no. Not in our world, not here in America. Nothing is as it appears. That's what they want to make you believe. And then they cry wolf. It's so sad. It's so sad. Chuck Schumer, in a cruel and inhumane decision, the Supreme Court just turns it back on more than 300,000 Haitians and thousands of Syrians and our voters. Oh, I'm sorry, did that slip out? Who have worked and raised families here because they faced violence and instability back home. TPS exists for exactly this reason. Notice, and you're going to see this a lot with Democrats, they don't want to utter the word temporary. Because if Chuck wrote here, temporary protective status, then people would say, well, hey, Chuck, it's temporary. But you count on idiots, people who don't know what TPS stands for, and now it looks like Trump did something bad. TPS exists for exactly this reason, to protect people when returning home is unsafe. Haiti and Syria remain unsafe today. Instead of showing basic humanity, Donald Trump and his court have chosen fear, chaos, and cruelty. I have introduced legislation to extend TPS for Haitians and will keep fighting to protect Haitians and Syrian families from being forced back into danger. America should not turn its back on people who came here seeking safety. How about not turning your back on people who are from here? Maybe that should be a priority, Chucky. I don't know. It seems like it would be something. How about make sure that the people who are PPS, permanent protected status, we got PPS. How come our PPS isn't being, that sounds really weird, PP. I should have thought about that better. PPS isn't being protected. Why are you worried about them so much? Why aren't you worried about us? You give yourself away by saying things like that. Then, of course, I want to show you this. This is just some serious in-your-face stuff. I mean, I don't know who's running these accounts, but they're heartless. I love it. They're so heartless. Homeland Security account, told you so. Back in 2025, they posted a meme. You mean T as in Troy? No, Gabriella. T as in temporary. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. You didn't do that, did you? You didn't go there, did you? Hell yes. Rub it in their faces. Do I feel for the people? I do. But I feel for them because they never knew the definition of temporary. You see, you got here, you were given temporary protective status whenever you got it, and for some reason, you didn't understand it was temporary. You let certain Democrat politicians trick you. into thinking they were going to protect you. You know how they always say, we're going to fight for you, fight. Well, there's no more fight. It's over. Stop lying to these people.
I have terrible news. The Supreme Court has sided with the Trump administration on a terrible decision that will rip away temporary protective status from Haitians and Syrians in the United States. This was a 6-3 Supreme Court decision along political and ideological lines, and it now means that over 6,000 Syrians and over 350,000 Haitians on TPS, temporary protective status, are now at risk of immediate deportation. This is a terrible decision nationwide, but especially in our community of Central Florida, where we have so many Haitian Americans who live with us. These are our neighbors. These are our caretakers. These are our teachers. These are our people that now are at risk of immediate deportation, regardless of what they do in our community, regardless of the fact that they have families, regardless of the fact that they are our neighbors. And there's two things I want you to know. The first is that in the House of Representatives, Representative Ayanna Pressley, myself, and a few others pushed to force a vote to protect TPS for Haitians, and we won here in the House of Representatives. We are pushing to have this heard in the Senate, and we need your help to reach out to U.S. senators and say, pass TPS for Haiti so we can protect the over 350,000.
I'm sorry. It's too late. What kind of fight are you going to do now? Oh, you're going to have some big, huge press conference. And when you have your big, huge press conference, you're going to get all the people in Washington who are, behind your cause here. Except when you had that big, huge press conference, you couldn't field the basketball team for the people that showed up. Counting the people behind you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's not even a basketball team. So what you have to understand, son, is it ain't gonna fly. It doesn't fly. They're not supposed to be here. They're taking up space that Americans need to be doing. For me, this is a glorious day. I am not upset whatsoever because, and I'm going to tell you why. I am the product. My father came over from Jamaica. I've mentioned this many times. He was born in Jamaica, decided to come to the United States, decided to start his own business. He got funding, as I've told you before, from a Jewish guy, and he was able to open his own business. And then he also joined the military and jumped out of airplanes all over the place. He was a paratrooper. And then he became a citizen. Didn't need temporary protected status. He came over. Hey, what are you going to do? You're going to suck off the government? No, I'm going to get a job. I know construction. Okay. Start doing it. He started a construction company. Okay, you're making your own living. You're not here on welfare. You're not here just trying to get by, getting food stamps. Nope, I'm working. And now I'm going to bring my brothers over with me because my company is expanding, and he brings his brothers over. And guess what? They get citizenship. I'm the wrong person to talk to in regards to whining about TPS. It doesn't make any sense because I lived it. There are a lot of people who haven't lived it, but there's a whole lot who have. Go down to South Miami. There's a lot of people who came over in boats and bathtubs who have thriving businesses right now. Why didn't these people that you call your community workers and everybody else, your family, and your, I don't know, why didn't they do it? You mean you were here under temporary protective status and you never thought, hey, maybe I need to get in line before this temporary thing ends? I don't get it. So what I do get is that we've had 2 huge wins back to back. Back to back. They can't even deny it. They're crying to run around with 6 people at a press conference, and they can't make it work. America decides who gets to come in. And right now, the Supreme Court says President Trump can kick you out if you're here under a temporary protective status. Notice, well, you may not have noticed, President Trump didn't post anything that says round them up. You know, maybe you might want to try before the knock on the door comes. There's two things you can do right now. You can get on a plane and go back to Port-au-Prince and to see how things go, or you can go to a local office and say, hey, what do I need to do to, get right? You can move forward. I wouldn't want to be living with an anvil on the side of my shoulder. I'd want to know what's going to happen to me. I don't want to be like the other 300,000. I want to find a way to make it work. At least I want to show an effort. See, your problem is you listen to these stupid Democrats. You thought you had a lifetime get out of deportation free card. But then you find out today, nope, I don't. You do not have a permanent pathway to stay here forever. See, under other administrations, that's exactly what it became, and they knew it would become that. Temporary meant permanent. They changed the definition. And what's sick about this whole thing is that the Supreme Court had to get involved. That's the part that's just stunning. And that's the part that also proves that they were trying to make temporary permanent. Otherwise, if it went to a lower court, or it should never went to a lower court, but the lower court should have figured out right then and there, hey, it's temporary, you can't go. But the lower court kept telling Trump no. So we have all these judges who don't understand what the word temporary means. Let that sink in. They kept trying to overrule and say Trump couldn't do it. So now your so-called fight is over. The Supreme Court said it clear. Temporary means temporary. And now you've got to meet your destiny with a guy named Tom Homan or Mark Wayne Mullins. These federal judges, you completely screwed these people. You Democrat politicians, you NGOs who got these people all excited. You're never going to have to leave. You got it made here. And now look at you. Look what you've done to these people. Look what you've done to 350,000 people who took your word for it. As long as you voted, you would just perpetuate their complete inanity that temporary doesn't mean temporary. And it's crazy because now, because that happened, they are all just crying and crying and crying.
This is the catastrophic outcome that we feared. The court has held that the administration's decision to end temporary protected status cannot be reviewed in the.
Who feared? You don't look Haitian. You didn't have any fear. You're white as can be. What was catastrophic to you, white lady? Oh, you can't get them to vote anymore. Oh, that's a problem, isn't it? That would be catastrophic.
Courts. And so we need to.
Why wouldn't it? Why?
Because by statute, they say it wasn't intended to be. Look, this will be a very controversial ruling. This is a further indication that the Supreme Court is intent on consolidating power in the hands of the president, part of this larger unitary.
Okay, so notice, and I wanted to play you some of this stuff so you can understand what will happen tomorrow or Monday. So tomorrow, if they get their way, likely, just want to be truthful here, if they likely get their way with birthright citizenship, tomorrow the Supreme Court got this one right. Oh my gosh, the judges in the Supreme Court understood that this is how it's supposed to be. They'll completely change. You see, people like me, I don't get emotional about it. The Supreme Court says it. It may not like it, but that's what the Supreme Court. I'm not saying we need to pack the court because, God knows, we may lose birthright citizenship tomorrow. They may win that. I'm not saying pack the court. I'm like, all right, we'll live to play another day. Let's keep going. These people, as she said, it's catastrophic.
Executive theory that this White House has pushed. But temporary protected status is just that. It's temporary status that applies to people who immigrate to this country because of unpredictable impact in their home country. It could be weather. That's the Haitian group that's part of this population here. They had temporary protected status following weather developments in Haiti. They were here from 2010 onward. Their status has expired.
Wait. They've been here since 2010. I'm looking at the calendar. In 16 years, they didn't decide, you know what, the hurricane or the earthquake happened, and let's go home. 16 friggin' years. That's why I don't have any patience. I don't have any feelings towards it. You had 16 years to get your shit together. And you chose to just hang out thinking temporary meant permanent. And while these ladies today on MS Now it's catastrophic. Not for you.
Now the court has said this administration can force them all to leave the country. Their temporary status is revoked. It's a humanitarian tragedy in many ways. It's a very personal tragedy for people who have lived here for a long time with no path to citizenship. But this was a bright line in the culture wars, and the Supreme Court, in a 6-3 opinion authored by Justice Alito, your neighbor, so you can go check the flag.
There you go, checking the flag tonight.
Has ruled this is the worst outcome. I'll tell you, Steph, the hope had been that the court might, for instance, say the administration could end TPS in this case, but that there could still be judicial review.
See, that's what's most important. See, that's what they should have done with their other ruling to stop these judges from doing some of the stupid stuff they do now. By saying it excludes judicial review, it basically tells the lower court, don't even look at it anymore. We're not going down this road. It's over. No judicial review. That's what's most important to them. That's what you have to key on at this point. They love judicial review. Oh, we can just come back and try it again sometime with another judge. And that's what you're seeing all over the country. They're judge shopping, getting some stupid thing, and then look, we got to go back to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, this one's over. So when you hear them say they're fighting, no, you don't have a fight. There's no ring for you to go to. There's nothing there. It's over. Done. Finished. Temporary means temporary. That's what's catastrophic for them, because now they can't count on these people showing up at the voting booth, because now they're not even supposed to be here. Oh, wait a minute. We don't want, soldiers at the voting booth. I do if there's 350,000 Haitians running around who you counted on to vote. I most assuredly want to make sure none of these people show up getting ready to vote. I bet there's a lot of cats and dogs that are really happy right about now.
They've foreclosed judicial review, apparently.
Alan, I want your reaction to what Fallon just laid out for us there, and the concept here that the court is ignoring the history of this administration's remarks about Haitian people in particular. I don't think there is a single American who can say they actually forget.
I don't remember. I think you guys can let me know in the chat if you remember. Yeah, and there's not a single person here that would, has forgotten what Trump said about Haitians. I remember him saying they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. He was talking about the Mexicans when they said they're not bringing their best. But what did he say about the Haitians? I'm pretty sure whatever he said washed over me. I didn't care. I'm sorry. It wasn't that important to me.
What we heard from the president, what we heard from Vice President Vance about Haitian people, just some of the most disgusting and racist remarks you can imagine. I know that
Seriously, you guys remember any most racist remarks that J.D. Vance made? Maybe Trump did. I don't remember. But by the way, you see the little discussion we just had about the racist remarks? That's a complete distraction. See, by talking about the racist remarks, we're not talking about the law. Let me put it this way. President Trump could have said, he could have looked in the camera and said, I want every one of these effing N'ers to be out of here. Every single one of them. And it doesn't change the definition of temporary and permanent. Yeah, one of your defenses would have been said, he's bringing this action because of racial animus. But like it happened today, the court said, no, it wasn't racial animus at all. It's a matter of law. Temporary means temporary. Permanent means permanent. So even if J.D. Vance and President Trump said something untoward and got these people's panty in all a bunch, it wouldn't have mattered.
You work with a number of Haitian clients. Break down for me just how devastating all of this is about to be.
Very devastating, and I hope we stop talking about it as the Trump administration won or someone won, because right now America lost. There are going to be a lot of jobs that are open and a lot of...
Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. America lost because there's going to be a whole lot of jobs open. Not my words, his exact words. America lost because there's going to be a whole bunch of jobs open. Yeah, he actually just said that. There's going to be a whole lot of jobs open. Okay, so what's that tell you? That tells me that the food stamp queens and other people who don't have jobs, yeah, you're going to be, taking care of Aunt Martha's bedpan. There's a job for you. Oh, I don't want to clean up people's poop and pee. That's too bad. It's a job. You don't work, you're not going to get any food stamps. We got a job for you. You're going to go clean up Aunt Martha's poopy. Do it with a smile, because the more you have to clean up Aunt Martha's poopy, you're going to say, I need to do something better with my life. Or who knows, you might like it.
People in home health care industries that are not going to receive any service because their providers are going to be removed from the United States. There are a lot of people who are going to die and suffer because of the account of this. So I wish...
They love that, don't they? We're all going to die. They're all going to die. Oh, the Haitians going home. You're going to die. Why? tell me why we're all going to die, because Haitians have to leave. See, the problem is they are trying to BS the people who watch their crap. Because the two things he just said, one, there's going to be a lot of open jobs, which all of us want, okay. The other part he didn't mention, it's going to be a lot of open housing. See, if 300,000 people end up having to leave, that's 300,000 vacancies across the country. Voila! Instant affordable housing. So no, we're not shedding any tears.
This court was more of a court of equity than they say they were a court of policy right now. So I am the chair of the Haitian Bridge Alliance, which is the United States organization that represents these Haitians before the Supreme Court. And we have made the argument that not just his comments, but also in the writings, and just recently even the discovered emails from Kristi Noem about the clear conversations they've made about Haitians and Black immigrants in general, when you even look at the refugee policy. And this court has said, even with that information, there's nothing for us to do here.
You're a lawyer? You're a lawyer, and I don't mean to be this in terms of a racial definition, but the law is black and white. There's no gray. Temporary means temporary. Permanent means permanent. But Trump said some nasty things, and he said they were eating the cats and the dogs. And J.D. Vance says something that none of us can remember. And the Supreme Court just went, well... It says temporary, bro. What are you bringing all this stuff in for? I don't care. Temporary. It sounds like they hired the wrong attorney.
Seems to be extremely problematic along party lines. And today you've seen something that I haven't seen in the Supreme Court in a very long time, is that you've seen the justice sort of read dissents that are 35 pages from the bar. So even in the Supreme Court, you see not the harmony that generally exists there in peaceful dissent, in saying that this is outside the norm. And because it is outside the norm, because it isn't about just policy and procedure, this is about people and human engagement. And the concept that people keep saying that the problem is that it's temporary status and it's been longer than temporary. Well, change the word. Don't put people's lives in danger because...
Change the word. I told you it was about vocabulary. I told you they just want to take things and instantly change. It's no longer a boy. It's a non-gestating dude. That's boy. Oh, it's temporary. Change the word. That'll make it all better. Interim protective status. You just can't change it because you don't like it. Change the word. Said no law ever. Hey, it's jaywalking. No. What do we? Let's call it somewhere. Crosswalk initiative movement. These people are freaking insane. Change the word. You know why they're that way? Because we let them get away with it. When they change and don't allow us to say what they really are and have to call them undocumented, they won. And it just kept going from there. And they kept adding letters to the alphabet thing. L, G, T, P, Q, I, A. What in the hell are you talking about? You either are or you aren't. You play on one team or you play on the other. Now we got a whole different language. And we have different words. We have to scratch our head. What exactly does undocumented mean? Seriously. But you just heard what they do. Just change the word. Interim protective status.
You feel that arbitrarily moves something. And as stated before, there are a million so classes of TPS individuals who are here legally working. So they're authorized, they've been vetted. There's none of the concerns that you have with people who may come in undocumented, as well as they're supporting our economy. And when you remove those individuals, you draw down all of those work areas. So all those.
Okay. So I have a plan. Mr. Haitian guy. We're going to get rid of all these people that are, temporary, and we're going to, replace them with permanent people. And where are you going to get the permanent people? I got a long list of people here who are getting welfare and food stamps. Oh, there's a whole lot of permanent people sitting right here. This is an easy fix. You're not going to like that either because you all want them to have food stamps and welfare. Do you realize these temporary protective people, I'm going to freak you out right now. Over 70% of them get welfare of some sort. 70%. We are paying for their temporariness. We have been paying since 2010 for their temporariness. Enough. Sorry. Bye. Don't let the door hit you. We'll figure out who else can go there and work. We got a whole bunch of lazy ass people who are on welfare. And now, guess what? They got to go back to work. I don't care if you are looking to me and you to pay your bills, and now there's an opportunity for you to pay your own bills. Have at it.
Jobs they're doing. All of these companies that were relying on these TPS workers to work tomorrow are going to have to make decisions about them leaving today. So this is not a big win that we think we're going to celebrate. And there are 350 million or more Americans in the United States. A million TPS holders are not causing some economic burden on
you guys don't get it. There's 350 Americans. There's only a million leeches. That's all. 71% of them. So there's 700,000 people who are leeching off the government. It's not a big deal. It is when I'm paying for it. It's a real big deal when you're paying for it. These people have no idea. It's just free money. Free money for people who aren't supposed to be here, whose only value to you, and why it's catastrophic is because you lose a potential vote. If these people were voting for Republicans en masse, if they were lining up voting for Trump, you'd bet your ass Chucky Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries would be kicking them out as fast as they could get. Load up the trucks, get them out of here. But because they're Democrats, for the most part, whatever that means, that's a whole nother definition, they think we're turning our back on them. I'm not turning my back on anybody. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to be subjected to the crime. I don't want to be subjected to other people who need jobs, can't work, and we have to pay for them. So that means we're paying twice for one temporary person. You realize that? Think about this. If you are here and you've got a job that an American could be doing, then we're helping you with your welfare, and then we're paying the person who's absolutely on welfare as well. Two people. This crap has to end. No wonder it's catastrophic.
States.
the TPS decision that the U.S. Supreme Court, just 6-3, about they can allow, so the president has the constitutional authority to make it temporary and not permanent.
It's the right call. You know, I've been doing this since 1984. TPS has never been temporary. That's why the whole statute exists. Temporarily give people protection while the country's in turmoil or after they suffer a hurricane. But the problem is no administration have had the guts to actually follow that statute. President Trump has the guts to follow the law. So temporary means temporary. When the condition of that country gets better, they need to go home. There are millions of people standing in line wanting to be part of the greatest nation on earth. And that goes back to my early point. People say, why do you arrest them if they're not criminals under 10 years? Because they cheated the system. They may have been here 10 years, so let's remember, when you enter the country legally, it's a crime, and they're doing that, putting themselves in front of the line while millions of people are taking their tests, doing their background investigation, paying their fees to be part of the greatest nation on earth. So temporary means temporary, and I'm grateful for that decision.
It's not hard to understand. I don't understand why you people are having a problem understanding the word temporary. You know, it all goes down to politics. Let's just be honest. Now it's starting to make sense why you're so worried about the ice being at the polls, because otherwise you wouldn't be worried about it. Obviously, some of these temporary people have been here since 2010 who are getting paychecks have found a way to vote. And so it's driving them absolutely up crazy.
We're back with the Supreme Court's ruling on temporary protected status. It clears the way for the Trump administration to remove legal protections for hundreds of thousands of Syrian and Haitian immigrants. Again, these are immigrants who came to this country legally. I want to bring in Andrea Flores, a former DHS official and White House advisor. Thank you for joining us. This is big stuff. What is the real world impact?
The real world impact, Stephanie, is that 1.3 million TPS holders are now at risk of having their status revoked by President Trump.
All right, so here's another problem I have, reason why I wanted to show this, is because you've heard numbers 350, 300, 6,000 Syrians. Now we're hearing 1.5. They don't even know how many of them are here. I bet you they stopped counting. And now all these people that they let in, she used to work under Mayorkas. She was part of the problem, and they're bringing her on as an expert. The first question I would ask her is, why didn't you enforce the law? But no, they just want to continue to cry about it.
Laterally and without fair review by the courts. I mean, just legally, this is a stunning decision that has an almost indescribable impact on our economy and our communities. So my heart is with every TPS holder who is seeing this news today and realizing, and I want to remind viewers, some of these TPS holders have lived in the United States since the 1990s.
Okay. I heard this and I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Some of these people have been here since the 1990s. So you're telling me in 30 years, they couldn't waddle their butts down to the local citizenship office and say, I'd like to become an American citizen. What should I do? 30 years? Oh, these are the same people who can't get ID probably, because 30 years later, they still don't have no ID. Maybe they can't get ID because they ain't supposed to be here. Unless they're in California or someplace that gives them a driver's license. She's telling on herself. Hey, some of these people have been here 30 years. What? What? 30 years. You've had a somewhat get out of Haiti jail card for 30 years, and it never crossed your mind one day, I've been pretty good for the last 12. It's been good for the last 16. Wow, this is a pretty good gig. I get free stuff. 30 years. And you couldn't make it into, when I was growing up, probably like you, I remember when I was 15, and then I was 15 and a half, then I was 15 and 3/4, and I couldn't wait to run in and get my driver's license. I was counting the days. I couldn't wait until I turned 16 and I could get a driver's license. You've been here 30 years and you said being a citizen, no big deal. I'll just continue to do things as temporary.
But now President Trump can come and take their status away in what is probably the biggest delegalization moment in modern history.
All right, stop again. President Trump didn't take their status away. He's enforcing their status. They're still temporary. He didn't take it away. You're temporary. I didn't take it away. I'm making sure you got a brand on you that says a big ass T. I'm temporary. I'm not taking it away. I want everyone to know you're temporary. I want you to know you're temporary. I want the people at MSNBC to know you're temporary. I want Tom Homan to know you're temporary. I'm not taking away your temporary status. I'm letting everybody know you got to go. He didn't take away their status. See, that's how they look at it. Oh, man, he changed something. Nothing changed. Nothing at all changed. That's if you take anything from this segment, which I know is running a little bit long, if you take anything from this segment, you have to take away that nothing changed. They're still temporary. It just is expiring. He's not taking it away. He's letting all of us, every single person in the chat, myself, my sisters, my wife, hey, guess what? I'm letting this stuff expire the way it's supposed to. I didn't change anything. They should have changed something. Put the impetus on them. You should have got something done or got the hell out.
TPS was granted to Haitians after the devastating earthquake that took place there 15 years ago. Obviously, in the last 24 hours, we saw two massive earthquakes in Venezuela. We know the U.S. is offering assistance, but what does a decision like this say to our friends and allies around the world who need help after a disaster?
We'll give you temporary protective status, but don't friggin' abuse it. I don't know. That's pretty simple to me. If I was in Venezuela and they said, come on over, I know your building got collapsed and you lost your dog and a couple of members of your family, come on in, we're giving you temporary protective status. Understand what this means, sir. It means that until things get rebuilt in Venezuela, until it's safe and there's no tremors and you want to go back, we will allow you to stay here, but understand when everything is good, when everything's rebuilt, you got to get the hell out of here. You understand? Yes, sir. Okay, we're good. We're a very generous people, us Americans. We will make sure that you don't, and your family, in your time of need and grief, are taken care of. We will gladly do that. But then when that's over, you got to go back. So I think if I tell you that before you get on the boat or the plane, are we copacetic? You understand what temporary means? Good. All right, we'll help you out.
This is such a great question because I want to remind people that this is a bipartisan law that passed in 1990 under George H.W. Bush. And it was a law that was intended to help our allies. So when a country, as you mentioned, experiences an earthquake, a natural disaster, a war, we recognize that it is not a good foreign policy decision to send back all of the foreign nationals that are here in the United States back to that country as they're attempting to recover. Now, the reality of TPS is because, yes, it's temporary, but because Congress has not changed legal immigration law since 1990, that means that a lot of TPS holders have established deep ties to the United States. And
so what? You can make up every excuse that you want, but the earthquake was in 2010. 2010. I don't even know how you got to go all the way back to 1990s. Was that when the hurricane was? I don't know. When did Hillary go down there and steal? Never mind. That's a different story.
Like, as I mentioned, the earliest TPS holders, they date back to the 1990s. And so, it's a devastating foreign policy decision because we may be sending hundreds of thousands of people back to Haiti, which many foreign policy experts consider to be a failed state right now. I mean, can you imagine the destabilization that could happen if that were to occur?
Signed under George Bush. Then I want you to comment on something I mentioned in the last segment. Former DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said when she was the DHS secretary that these TPS recipients receiving TPS protection is contrary to U.S. interests. When you worked in the agency, did you find that to be true?
Why do I care? You see, this is brainwashing and gaslighting on an epic scale because they're trying to let their audience, let this woman who is under Mayorkas, who is arguably one of the worst guys ever, she's now going to comment on the Trump administration's enforcement of an actual law. Why do I care?
Absolutely not, because we know that our economy benefits enormously from TPS holders having work authorization. So to tell viewers,
I wish she was on the show right now, Miss brown-haired lady there. Let me ask you a question. I mean, serious question. Our economy benefits greatly from all these people who aren't supposed to be here working. Is that what you just said? Yeah, that's what I said. Would our economy not be as good if Americans were doing those jobs? You see, what's one of the problems that we've seen here in America is that they feel, maybe even somewhat warranted, that other people, the slaves that you import, do the jobs that Americans don't want to do. Meanwhile, we have socialists running around saying, you know, we got to make things equitable and people can't afford stuff. Well, maybe if they actually did jobs they don't want to do, they'd be a little bit more motivated than sitting around watching television. God knows I did jobs I didn't want to do. I remember my first job. I was a paper boy, and I thought being a paper boy was fantastic. I had my little wagon, and I would take my dog, and we'd go deliver papers at 6 o'clock in the morning. I even got up early, which is way not like something I would do. And I couldn't, Mom, Dad, I got a paper route. I'm making actual money in Connecticut, which means things were fantastic until like November. And all of a sudden, little Barry didn't want to get out of bed. I'm rolling around in a quilt, and Mom's coming, don't you have papers to learn? Papers. I can't do it. It's cold outside. They got to find somebody else. And my father came in the room back before they got divorced, and he's like, I can't say that. What do you mean? If I say it's too cold to go to work, you don't eat. It's not the same thing. I'm just a paper boy. Get your butt out there and start delivering the papers. Why? Because you have to. A, you made a commitment, and B, you want a new bike. Yeah, I told you I'd help you, but you got to do something. You have to earn it. I think we've lost the idea of what earn it means here. In this country, people don't want to earn. It's cruel to tell people to pay their own way. And so we gave them bus passes so they don't have to pay their own way. And we gave them Obama phones so they don't have to pay for their own phones. And we give them SNAP so they don't have to pay their own food. And we keep doing Medicaid so they don't have to pay their own They don't have to pay crap. And Americans, some, got used to that. And then when you can't afford it, they say we have to pay even more.
you know, every 18 months, TPS holders have to come to the government and get vetted again. These are some of the most vetted immigrants in our country right now. And also they are like employed at much higher rates than we see many other groups in the country. So that means, you know, you mentioned care workers earlier. Haitians are well represented in the caregiving industry. And this is actually going to take people who are serving our families just out of the economy, out of our country. They're going to be...
Oh, you got to clean your own toilets and clean up your own bedrooms and your garages and everything. You can't count on the Haitians to do it, you piece of crap. Did they hear the words that they are saying? You know, nobody wants to clean up Aunt Martha's bedpan. I bet you that there's quite a few people who'll do it. The Haitians are caregivers. You don't know what's going to happen in this economy when all these caregivers are gone.
hundreds of thousands of small businesses today realizing that they may have to fire their own employees and they don't have the workers to replace them. We know that in so many states, we don't have the workers to replace these TPS holders.
I could find them. At this point, you don't remember when President Trump a while back, I forget who did it, but they changed it and made SNAP and all these other programs have work requirements. Now you're seeing, it's almost like these guys dropped the breadcrumbs for us the entire way. It's like, oh, work requirements. Yeah, okay. I can't believe you're going to make somebody work 40 hours a month. In order for them to get free food stamps, we're making them work it's cruelty, 40 hours a month. A month. How many hours did you usually put in a week? These people only had to put in 40 hours a month, and they're complaining about it. And they don't realize as they're giving these interviews, you're saying at this point, there's going to be tons of jobs for people. And you're also putting Haitians in a much lower class of people saying, you know, who's going to clean your bedpans? Well, I'll tell you what, when you're hungry, when you don't have any money and you don't have any real skills, maybe you need to act like a Haitian. You remember the Bangles, and they had that song, Walk Like an Egyptian. Maybe you need to walk like a Haitian. Put your feet in their shoes and understand they're willing to go clean up Aunt Martha's bedpan. Meanwhile, you're sitting with a remote, with a color TV and air conditioning, eating food that we're paying for because you don't want to clean up Aunt Martha's bedpan.
President Trump went with this extreme move anyway. I mean, he still could choose not to terminate all the TPS designations, but there's no indication that Stephen Miller has any intention of letting these populations stay, because all of these people are just numbers to him when really that they are deeply embedded in our families and our economy. So the human impact just cannot be understated. It's a really devastating moment for this country.
For people who doubt it, I invite you to go to a nursing home. I invite you to go to anywhere where they have hospice care. I invite you to a rehab facility. You know who's going to be working there? A whole lot of Haitians caring for our most.
Not for long. See, I am with you, Stephanie. I think at this point, people should go to hospice cares and convalescence homes and wherever. I think you should if you need a job, because now you know where the job is going to be. So have at it. Become a part of society, a productive member of society. These people showed you you can exist if you just do the jobs that you think are beneath you. Many people have had to do jobs that were beneath them. We called it training. We called it high school. We called it college. That way we got better and said, we don't need to do that anymore. I'm sick of people here in America who complain and bitch and whine about having to do jobs, quote, they don't want to do. I didn't have that option when I was growing up, when I went to college. I had my size, and people were going to pay me to beat people up, smash people's faces. I was bouncing, and I found out I could make decent money bouncing in a club. Didn't really have to do it that often. I just had to look like the steroid monkey that I was. And people paid me. And then other people paid me to make sure that they didn't get messed with. Hey, man, here's $20. Just make sure nobody messes with me, because I'm going to get shit-faced today. Okay, I got your back. Hey, can you walk me and my girlfriend out to my car? I want to make sure, okay, here's $20. I didn't want to be there till 3 o'clock in the morning, but it paid me. I mean, I've never cleaned bedpans. I'm not above that. Well, I did clean some beds. Many of you clean diapers. We clean diapers. We clean poop. We've cleaned throw up. What'd you do? And they throw up all over you. We've cleaned dog poop. We've cleaned dog throw up. Because that's what we do. Americans do the jobs we're supposed to do. At least that's what we used to do. And now these people are making excuses. That's only for Haitians. Oh my God. Let's bring some more slaves over. I need to, hey, rent a slave or something. It's absurd. It's absurd, and I'm glad that you guys are seeing it firsthand. That everything they do is they're creating their own class society. Those are the people who are supposed to do that, not us. No, I'm going to be an influencer. Yeah, or a socialist. Oh, you know what? I'm going to be an activist. Whatever the hell that is. Whew, good Lord. Well, that ran a little bit long, but nonetheless, we took care of it. Oh, SV's here. What do you got, man? Yeah, I didn't see you, bro.
Hey, man.
You out
Happy
there playing
Thursday.
You out there playing pickleball?
Huh?
You out there playing pickleball
No,
or chasing ladies around the pool?
oh, doing some of that and a little of this. I was doing errands. Got a lot of sun today.
Good for you.
Let's check in. Let's check in at the reflection pool real quick to see what's happening. The last video at the bottom, it's a 13-second video. Let's see what's happening at the reflection pool.
Oh wow, hold on. What we got here?
Shall we?
So we got Democrats they're back protesting again. Oh my gosh.
Look at a guy's sign. Look at a guy's sign.
What's it say? Oh, Trump.
F Trump.
F.
F Trump.
It's I would assume this was probably taken sometime in the last hour or so. So this guy is out there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, walking around, not working.
Just nothing better to do.
Nothing to do.
And look, you see the way the cops looked at him? They're like, oh God, another crazy. Like they looked at him they gave him side eye.
Wait for it to come to that point. Oh, here they go.
Yeah, right there, right there.
Yeah,
right
like,
there.
oh, gosh, man.
Huh? What? Somebody should push him in.
I thought they put a big fence around it. They took the fence down already?
No, there's a fence around. It's not around the whole thing. I heard it's for July 4th, so I don't think it's all completely encapsulated. Okay. But there are plenty of police around. I mean, they're definitely watching it very closely. I miss the blow up algae people.
Well, they're not getting any checks anymore, so they had to go home. They had to go home.
Well, these two people that I'm going to show you next, the second story from the bottom from the National Fraud Enforcement Division. Let's check in with the fraud, shall we?
Oh no, not more fraud. More fraud. Okay, hold on.
What do you mean not more? There's going to be tons of it.
I looked at the first sentence. I'm like 90 million. Oh no.
I know. So yeah, we have an illegal alien from Honduras. He was just sentenced for $89 million off the books, a payroll tax fraud scheme, employing what is he employing? More illegal aliens. Defendant and his conspirators caused a combined tax loss of over $38 million and facilitated employment of illegal aliens. So today we held an illegal alien from Honduras accountable for a brazen scheme that stole more than $38 million from American taxpayers.
I have to go to my other ears here.
Oh, battery out.
I got no ears. My headphones just
Come
died, so I'm going to have to go manual. SP, give me a second.
Right.
You can hear me, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and play an ad, and we'll come back to this. All right.
Okay.
Go here. You've seen the headlines. Big banks are predicting gold could climb over $6,000 an ounce, with silver going as high as $300 an ounce. The news is finally catching up to what I've known for years. The value of the dollar is under assault, and the demand for gold and silver is absolutely exploding. But who you trust matters just as much as what you buy. That's why I trust Lear Capital. They're an education-first company that prioritizes customer experience over a quick sale. And because of that, Lear has thousands of satisfied customers, over $3 billion in trusted transactions, and was named the best overall gold IRA company by Consumer Affairs. If you're considering gold and silver, call the best in the business and the company Robin and I personally trust, that being Lear Capital. Call today for your free investor kit and ask how you can qualify for up to $20,000 in bonus gold. Call 800-601-5430, or as you see on the screen, go to learberry.com. All right, so I can hear you now.
All right, are you back?
Yeah,
Testing 1, 2, 3.
I had to go into temporary because I think
Yes,
I burned those.
backups are good.
Yeah, burn those out. So let's go back to your story here. All right, so little
All right.
Juan decided he's going to open up a business and take 38 million bucks, huh?
Yeah, hiring more illegals. So it sounds like he had a little scheme going. So they're saying this case exposes how unchecked illegal immigration fuels widespread tax fraud in underground economies that harm American workers and taxpayers. This sentence sends a strong message. Those who exploit our open borders, cheat the U.S. Treasury, and violate federal laws will face justice. So they had the little thing down below showing it, and there's a link. So yeah, we had that one. And then I had a Dr. Oz story, the one right above that, if you want to bring that up, please.
Yeah.
Here's another one.
90 million. It just keeps going and going.
Oh, this one's up there too. You know, let's go.
You're killing me. Oh,
I'm killing you, Smalls. I'm killing you, Smalls.
I keep seeing these. I see these numbers and I'm like, stop. People can't.
Barry,
we can't comprehend this anymore.
I track this every day. I mean, I could have 12 of these ready for you, but we'll be here for like 2 hours. Yeah, I mean, little by little, we're exposing it all. But Dr. Oz caught this one, and this one was from a North Carolina man. What is going on in North Carolina? They got all sorts of crap going on down there. But he had $11 million in false claims to Medicare. How do you even facilitate that? And $85 million in false claims to California. That's California's Medicare. James Shuford Price III pleaded guilty to defrauding American taxpayers and faces up to 13 years in prison and a $500,000 fine when sentenced. Great work by the OIG, HHS, FBI, the White House fraud TF partners involved in taking down another bad actor. Look at this guy. I mean, but he was legal. I mean, I guess he was exploiting the system. But again, somebody taught him how to do this. It's not like he said one morning, I'm going to get up and I'm going to defraud $85 million from the Medicare.
You know what the other thing that cracks me up as I see these stories is there's never an enough button. You're like, you know what? I didn't get caught stealing 2 million. Maybe I should stop here and go off to the Cayman Islands and hang out. No, let me keep going. I'm gonna steal 90, a billion. I'm just gonna keep going. My gosh.
Greed is amazing. I mean, you make a good point. I mean, I don't know. After I had $1 million, I'd be like, I'm pretty good.
I'm gone. I'm heading.
That's
to
a lot
Spain.
of Mai Tais,
I'm
man.
I'm heading to Spain. I'm getting a villa off the coast or something, changing my name, and you never see me again. These people just sit here and just keep stealing, which might tell you something else.
Yeah.
Who's running them? Who's in charge of them? Who's telling them keep doing this? Hey man, I might get caught. I don't care. Just keep going.
Soros.
If you stop, we're gonna have to whack you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get to those numbers, 11, 15, 20 million, you got to think to yourself, why would you keep doing it? I mean,
the one guy wasn't he $1.2 billion? The dude that they extradited back to the States. I mean, he must have said, you know what? I'm going to keep doing it till they catch me, I guess. I don't know.
I was the other day, the movie Goodfellas was on again. It's one of my favorite movies, even with De Niro in it. And it was funny. There's a part in the movie where they robbed the airlines or something, and they make $5 million they stole. And his character told the other guys, don't spend anything. I don't want you to see anything flashy. And other people start walking in with new Cadillacs and fur truck cars. It's like, what are you doing? We're all going to go down. And what the other one they said, it was buying luxury houses and Rolls Royces.
Six planes. He had 6 planes or something, right?
It's like, wait a second.
I mean, that's a red flag.
A big red flag. Oh my goodness. It's absolutely crazy.
All right, I sent you one more story. So this is I like the visual cue here. So this is showing the amount of traffic going through the Strait of Hormuz. Check this out. It's pretty cool.
Is this from Eric?
No, breaking 911 at the bottom.
Oh, at the bottom.
At the very bottom.
Okay,
I just sent it to you.
And you heard they attacked another ship today.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't. I haven't really seen it verified, but I mean, they might have done something.
It's something stupid.
Somebody
All right. So you
Yeah.
got this one. It says here, traffic through the strait more than doubled on June 24th. Wow.
So you can see all the types of crafts. The red triangles are the tankers,
Okay.
and the green is the cargo vessels. So there's some pleasure craft too, but they're going in and out. It looks like things are moving. So there's no tolls. There's no, it's moving in. That's 70 vessels that went out yesterday.
Wow.
Through the Strait of Hormuz. So
I mean,
pretty cool.
So I understand the red ones are the tankers. What'd you say the green ones are?
Cargo vessels.
That's a lot of damn
You can
cargo.
see some. Yeah, I mean, some of them you can see at the top. They're stopping to drop off. It looks like, I guess, they're dropping off their cargo, and then they come back out again to refill. That's pretty neat. I like this.
Yeah, I wonder who. I don't know enough geographically. I wonder to like all the different people who have goods besides Iran. Where else are these places go? Where are they going?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, so this is marine traffic by KPLER. I may have to check into a little bit more and see how they create this graph, this chart. But it is telling, though. I mean, the main thing is it's showing that traffic is moving in and out of the Strait of Hormuz. So meanwhile, the price of a barrel of oil has gone down a little bit more. It slightly went up a little bit, but it's around $70 a barrel. Hopefully, we'll start seeing some of that at the pumps soon.
It should be. If not, again, that's people manipulating over and over and over.
Yeah.
I'm looking at right now. It's 71.46 as of right now. So it has to come down. I mean, there's no reason for it to be up whatsoever. Let's see what we got here. Almost a record on the stock market as well. All right. Well, thank you. I'm going to jump into the economy right now. I'm not going to run the intro. I'm just going to get into it. All right.
Finally, with GDP here, for the final read of Q1 GDP, we came in at 2.1%. Now, the estimate was 1.6%. Remember, we got that big surprise on the last reading to the downside. Well, the number has gone back up. Now we are at 2.1% for first quarter GDP.
All right, personal income for the month of May, almost twice expectations, comes out up 0.7, strongest number since January of 24, equals where we were about a year ago in July.
So wait a second. So personal income has doubled. I'm having a hard time wondering where all this affordability problem, what are they talking about? It's booming. And the Democrats and the socialists just seem to be lying about it. The drive-by media, they're trying to hide it, but the numbers don't lie. The latest GDP numbers you just heard, they're exploding. They're absolutely going through the roof. How can there be such an affordability crisis? You're hearing it for yourself right now. GDP came in at 2.1%. The estimate was only 1.6%. That's a big, huge number. I understand, that from the fractions and everything, it might not seem like a lot, but it doubled expectations. The economy is stronger than any of the so-called experts predict. And this is under President Trump right now. And then you heard what he just said about personal income. This is absolutely huge.
Under the leadership of President Donald J. Trump and Administrator Kelly Loeffler, the SBA has renewed its focus on supercharging access to capital for small businesses, commercializing new innovative technology, and creating good-paying jobs through strong public-private partnerships. Fiscal year 25 marked a record year for capital formation and innovation at the SBA.
All right, so SBA, Kelly Loeffler, they're getting out more money to people, entrepreneurial, who want to start business. This is real growth that you're hearing. These aren't the fake numbers that the Democrats keep complaining about. This isn't the stuff that the socialists keep talking about. Affordability, I don't know what we're going to do. Working class can't seem to do anything. And we're actually seeing these real numbers, not fake numbers like you had under the Biden administration. And it's not just big corporations. The SBA really helps small businesses. And small business is beginning to thrive as well.
The center of that success is the Small Business Investment Company, or SBIC program. Last year, the SBIC program reached a record $53 billion in total assets, the largest in its history, and a reflection of unprecedented levels of private capital being mobilized through public-private partnerships.
All right, so $53 billion for the Small Business Investment Company. People are being funded. Businesses are growing. The largest in history, unprecedented levels, he says, of private capital, which is the key, private capital being mobilized. That was a very key thing, he said, private capital, meaning investors are getting it coming in, they're coming off the sidelines, and they're putting their cash into businesses, small businesses. We're not talking big major corporations. People are investing in businesses that are viable. Where the hell is this unaffordability stuff? Where is this, working class people can't seem to, make it? This is what happens when you have pro-growth policies, when you cut red tape, when you unleash American energy and American entrepreneurship. That is absolutely huge. Absolutely.
For more than 6 decades, the SBIC program has served as one of the federal government's less well-known but most successful investment programs. In addition to providing capital, fund managers bring industry expertise, strategic guidance, and business relationships that help entrepreneurs grow and succeed. Today, approximately 360 active funds manage more than $55 billion in total capital. And since the program's inception, SBICs have deployed more than $147 billion through over 200,000 investments in American small businesses.
Wow. Again, I'm going to put it out there. You hear the socialists, you hear the insane left media talking about how people can't even afford bread, and it's not real. Yes, there are some people who are hurting. I understand that. But they make it seem like the entirety of the economy is collapsing, that everybody's in a bread line. It's not true. And it was so funny. I got a response on one of my posts on X, and the lady said, Barry, what you're saying is true. I went to, where did she say she went to? She went to a ball game or something, and it cost $40 to park, and it was packed. Absolutely packed. How is that possible? How can an entire stadium be packed? You could say it's the Europeans coming in here and realizing America is a great deal, or they're lying to you. I mean, President Trump last night, let me see if I have a picture of it. President Trump posted this from last night. The crowd was incredible, packed to the brim. At least 45,000 people were there with a huge television and online audience as well. I wish we were able to have an even larger area, which we will be able to do so on July 4th when I'll be speaking again. The airplane flyovers, the music was fantastic, which it absolutely was. If you didn't see it, go back and watch our show from last night. Everybody stayed right until the end of my speech because they loved hearing about a truly successful America. And then there's some of the pictures, and it was absolutely mobbed. Right in Washington, D.C., 45, 50,000 people are there to listen to President Trump speak. What's going on? Something's not making any sense. The media keeps showing these socialists. The media keeps harping on everything being bad, but it can't possibly be that way. Don't let your eyes be deceived. Today, America is playing its next round of soccer game with, I believe, Turkey. They're playing Turkey. Wait until you see the stadium in Los Angeles. If you can see it tonight, watch the game, the match, as they call it. Watch the match on the pitch. Watch it. Wait until you see the stands. Wait until you see how packed it is. So where the hell are all these people who can't find anything to eat? I don't even see them. We go to the stores around here, everything's packed. The beaches, packed. The grocery store, the restaurants. Again, I understand there are some who are hurting, but the numbers tell you it's a small percentage. The numbers have to tell you, if you start looking and using your eyes and understanding the data, the numbers are saying things are really good. There will always be a percentage of people in any administration at any time over our history that are going to struggle. There's always going to be that. But we can't focus on that. We have to focus on the largesse. What are most people feeling? What are most people seeing? And I've told you for months, the Democrats literally have, at this point, 30 days. I've told you it's coming. College football will be here in a little over 30 days. You'll start seeing camps open. The NFL camps are open. The Miami Dolphins down here in 100-degree heat, they will have 10 or 20,000 people at practice. Packed. Democrats, Republicans, socialists, but they'll be there watching 100 degrees, watching the Miami Dolphins practice. And then, of course, the season starts, and Democrats get every single, like from Thursday to Sunday, you turn on a television, it's going to be very hard for them to keep talking about how everything sucks when everything's packed. I understand, I'm going to say it for the last time, just in case anybody comes at me. I don't want to make SV and Roaring Rage and Beth and Severo's jobs any harder. I understand there are people who are hurting. But where do we focus? I want you to think about that. Do we focus on the large group of people and find a way to help the other ones? Or do we focus on a very minute section of our population and ignore people who are succeeding? The Democrats don't want you to see success. I'm saying watch for success and embrace it. I love these things. Hold on.
They paint about America. Hundreds and thousands of fans for the World Cup are now seeing America through their own eyes, realizing the narrative they've been fed is false. This weird narrative that it's a place that you shouldn't go. But now the tides are changing.
You know, other people from, if you watch some of these videos, Ashley's got, where's he from? New Zealand or South Africa? We have a guy coming on who is from South Africa, and he's going to explain in a lot of his videos, I'll play him next week. He talks about how he got here and was like, oh my, this is what life is like. But he can also tell us what life was like back there and what they were doing, and how what they were doing over there when they wanted to kill the white people and take their farms, and how it resembles what these socialists are doing.
These investments supported the creation of more than 10.6 million new jobs since 1995. Congress has also taken an important step to ensure the continued growth of the SBIC program through the passage of the Investing in All America Act, one of the most significant enhancements to the SBIC program in years. The legislation increases SBA leverage limits, allowing significantly more private capital to flow into American small businesses. For many funds, these higher limits can translate into nearly $200 million in additional investment capacity available to support growing businesses. The law also provides up to $125 million in additional leverage for funds investing in administration priorities such as critical technologies, rural communities, and small manufacturers, which is essential to America's long-term economic competitiveness and industrial strength in an increasingly competitive global environment. During the past year, the SBA has removed regulatory barriers to facilitate SBIC investments in critical mineral extraction and processing and designated critical technologies, while eliminating restrictive eligibility requirements for fund applicants and improving.
You know, as he's talking, you're hearing all the reasons that the Democrats screech. It's private investment. It's removing regulation. All these things that they're doing to incentivize small business is what the Democrats don't want. They want to make it as hard as possible. They want you reliant on the government. They don't want people splurging and being able to buy businesses and having investors back them. Are you kidding me? We don't want that. And we want to restrict everything. Oh, we got to tax you if you use AI. It's insane. They've lost the plot, and their continued use of the media to reinforce that is what the problem actually is. If people sit back and realize, I live in the best country in the world, I can actually do whatever I need to do to succeed. Nothing is really holding me back except for my knowledge. And the knowledge in this era I can gain rather quickly. See, that's the thing I don't think a lot of people even here sometimes understand. When you say, I can't do this or I can't do that, not realizing, yeah, you can. There is so much free knowledge available. It's an amazing amount of free knowledge. We just held a webinar yesterday showing people how they can buy stocks. There's just so much that people can do that they don't realize that they can do it. I've never seen the kind of opportunity we see right now. Digging into AI myself and how hard it is to actually contain myself, because I'll spend too much time trying to evolve, my aspect of a large language model and figuring out how much can I do to help what I'm doing. And I'm only limited by my time and by my ability to learn.
Efficiency for experienced fund managers. Additionally, the SBIC program aligned its investment strategies with SBA strategic priorities to create additional flexibilities around pre-licensing investments to ensure U.S. small businesses receive the capital they need when they need it.
The permitting bill that's in front of Congress is very important, and they should pass it. Of course, Democrats are holding it up. One of the things they're trying to use as leverage is one of the things they're trying to do is say, listen, we won't vote for permitting unless the Trump administration agrees to keep, subsidizing intermittent and weather dependent and often foreign sourced sources of electricity. And that.
When I said they lost the plot, it's like on everything. The Democrats in Congress right now trying to hold up permitting reform. Hey, let's make it easier for people to start businesses. Let's make it easier for people to build their own homes. Let's make it easier for people to get permits to do renovations. Understand, the reason why they don't like permitting reform is because it makes it too facilitating for people to spend money. Hey, honey, I want to, doing a garage edition. All right, let's do a garage edition. Whoa, you got to fill out all these forms and we'll get back to you. Well, because that person is ready to spend money to buy lumber and roofing materials, put in extra electric, all kinds of things what they want to do. That means that if somebody's filing for a permit, they're ready to spend money. And they're also willing to hire people, a roofer, a contractor. That money is now gonna get into the economy. All this crap with the Green New Deal nonsense, people didn't see it. There's no way that you had any ability to profit off of the windmills and all this other crap that they did. And now people want to do things. Nothing should grab your eye more than the fact that they can't even rebuild their houses in California that burned down. See, what they don't realize is that all these people who are standing in the way of this economic boom, AI is going to replace you. AI can read through this permit application faster than anybody in your planning and zoning department. I can feed in the code, I can feed in the application, and the permit can be done in about 20 minutes. And then, you can inspect it when you go out, but I don't need a stack of permits sitting on Fred's desk that he's got to go through one at a time. Again, where we're going, we don't need roads. We see what quantum technology can do on the battlefield. Can you imagine what it's going to do on Main Street? Hey, I want to build a new addition. Okay, fill this in, submit it, and okay, here's what it says you got to do. It's over, done. Sorry, you allowed yourself to be overburdened. We need more American energy. We need more American innovation. We need more American disruption. All of that equals more jobs at a lower cost.
Just something that President Trump's not willing to do. So they really don't have leverage in that way over the administration, because what we need in America right now is energy addition, not energy subtraction. And as it comes to our power grid, all the rules under the Biden administration, if you're transitioning from reliable 7x24 to something that's dependent on the weather, that's energy subtraction. That's not energy transition. And we need energy addition. We need energy to power manufacturing. All the jobs, the foreign direct investment coming back into this country, what we need to manufacture AI, manufacturing intelligence here in the United States is critical to the strength of our economy. And of course, with President Trump, we have lower taxes, less regulation, and we have seen a flow of capital coming to the United States like never before.
That terrifies them. The flow of capital coming into the United States. You mean I don't have to be dependent on the government? Nope. You mean if I have an idea that makes sense, there's capital out there? Yeah. Right now, there's nothing holding anybody back in the Trump economy. Democrats don't want people to know that. The Democrats want you to believe that everybody's poor, everybody's broke, and it's because of Trump. And they're instilling this mindset into people. The whole thing about people complaining about data centers, that's a whole crock as well. If you think about it, I'm going to make a statement here, and some of you guys are like, no, that's not true. Every single one of you right now watching this video are utilizing a data center. Think about that. How do you know that, Barry? Because you're on YouTube. You're on Rumble. You're on X. Wherever you're watching this video right now, understand the people's platform that you're on is being utilized by a data center. If you log into Facebook, if you log into Instagram, if you log into Amazon, you are utilizing data centers. And so when people say, I don't want data centers in my neighborhood, that's because they're not really understanding. They're already here. They've been here. We just need more. But even that is a misnomer. You see, with what's going on with the quantum technology and what's going on with, in case you don't know the language LLM, large language stuff that's modeling that's going on, data centers are almost going to be usurped by what you can do on a personal computer. You used to be able to buy a hard drive that had, I don't know, a terabyte, 2 terabytes, 4 terabytes, and it was relatively inexpensive. Go on to Amazon and try to find a 2 terabyte or 4 terabyte hard drive or storage. Go ahead and look. See, what you're not seeing is that just like with everything else, remember when we first got microwaves, they were this giant thing and it was like $1,000 and like, oh, there's a microwave. That thing is huge. And now you walk in a store, you can buy a microwave for like $58. How did that happen? How did it shrink, get more powerful, and now I could get it for $58? The same way in the data centers. We need huge data centers until we don't. The evolution of what's happening right now, and it's being spurred on by President Trump and the people around him, like Doug Burgum, the Democrats can't contain it. And so all they can do is bitch, moan, cry, and use the media to keep saying everyone's broke, everybody's poor, there's no opportunity, when there's never been more.
And it truly is going to be the golden age for America going forward. But we've got a few more things to clean up from the mess that was left behind by the last administration relative to energy policy that was headed 180 degrees in the wrong direction.
Hey, Billy, and we're seeing green because of not just that report, but also the GDP report. That was the big surprise here, and it pushed through the slowdown in the economy because of the Strait of Hormuz. Now, the GDP was up 2.1% in the first quarter. This revises a surprise last estimate that was under 2% growth. Now, remember, now the Strait of Hormuz is open and oil prices are dropping, and that should boost GDP and will also reduce the pressure on inflation.
You know, it's amazing if you dial back your television or videos and you look back and say, you know, you have to wonder, what were they saying in March after the war just started? No, but gas prices are way too high and people can't afford stuff and they can't afford eggs. And President Trump kept telling you, it's temporary. You're going to be okay. You see, the Trump effect is also what should be known as the truth effect. Maybe that's why he called it true social, because it all changed and it's going to continue to change. Strong growth, rising incomes, double, record small business investment, cheaper energy on the way. The economy is firing on all cylinders, and all the trolls can do is try to get you off your game and think otherwise. As this thing begins to fall going into the summer when everybody's going to be traveling and enjoying life and not looking on the television, better keep looking at my videos though. Don't go away. The economy will be firing on all cylinders. What do the Democrats do? They got to lie. And now they're lying to the 10th degree by bringing in these socialists. Everything sucks. It all sucks. We can't do anything. We need the government. We need daddy government. They downplay every good number. They say it's not real. They blame Trump for things that aren't even happening anymore and stuff that he's actually fixing, that he told you he was going to fix. You know, I get called a bootlicker all the time, and I'm like, I'm just listening to him. When gas was $4.50 or $5 for certain people, and he kept saying, oh, it's going to go down. Okay, let's see. Oh, it went down. Hey, he laughs about the fact that they blamed him for eggs. You're like, go fix it. Eggs are like $1 a dozen down here. So it's very hard for Democrats to keep complaining because the only thing they can talk about is the pool turning green. Think about that for a second. It's a pool in Washington, D.C., and the media actually covered stories with them going out and taking water samples and look, what the hell are you people doing? I'm telling you what they're doing. They're running out of stuff to complain about. That's what they're doing. The fake news media runs with their talking points. And now all of a sudden, not every, as I'm going to show you, but many of the people who on television have become, I don't know, inured to socialism. Oh, socialism is going to be great. But now you even have some Democrats going, this ain't looking right here. I want no parts of this. The economy is terrible, ain't working anymore. The fact that you want to call Trump Nazis and us deplorable, it's not working anymore. The actual data shows otherwise. The GDP is beating estimates. Personal income is surging. Small businesses are getting record capital investment. Energy production ramping up. This is what winning looks like. This is what you voted for. President Trump promised to make America prosperous again. He kept saying prosperity, prosperity, prosperity. Barry talked about prosperity, pissed off a bunch of people, and a lot of them left. And I'm not going to stop. It's all about being prosperous and safe because that solves most of life's issues. If you're safe and prosperous, you can pretty much do what you want. It's like the perfect recipe. He's delivering. The Democrats and their media allies, they can't stand it, so they continue to lie. They continue to obfuscate. Then they try to scare people. And you should know better. You should be, at this point, beginning to see it in your own lives. Lower gas prices coming, more money in your pocket, businesses growing, jobs being created. And you know what the biggest thing is that nobody even foresaw in this burgeoning golden age? When the whole thing with Iran started, I bet you a bunch of people, including myself, like, we got to watch out for these sleeper cells. There's going to be a bunch of people who are probably going to try and strike out against us. For the most part, we've been quite safe. It seems like the only people we're dodging at this point are Democrats. Loony Democrats. I haven't seen much from the Aloe snack bar crowd. You know, when they do something, and when things have happened, they've been, here. Nothing like we may have thought. Something happened. I know they're using AI, so maybe that's helping a lot too, but the golden age is obviously here. The Trump economy is booming, and no amount of Democrat lies can change those facts. I think you have to open your eyes if you feel otherwise, because we're winning.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
Let me see. Is SB here?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
More. Damn right, more. Yeah.
I mean, I look, every day I look around and I'm like, people look happy. And then you turn on the television and get depressed. Like, oh, is it really that bad?
Oh my God.
Does it suck that bad? And I'm like, no.
What did I write to you today? What did I write to you?
You're like, I'm heading out. And here, let me just say what part. You're heading out to, I assumed it was playing pickleball, but you said I'm going to go out and touch some grass.
That's right. I went out and didn't look at any of this media for a couple of hours. It was nice.
Yeah.
I sent you something from Steve Miller. You know, I love that guy.
Hold
So
on.
it's a minute and a half video. So I don't know if you could cue it up right away or how you do it.
Yeah, I can do it. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, he was on Will Kane. I must have missed it. I have a video of him coming up too as well. He went. I am a big fan of his. I'm a fanboy. I mean,
I love the way he talks too. He does that. He gets. It's like he's gritting his teeth, you know. Yeah. And he does the fist thing. Yeah.
and the other thing with him is he has a I don't give an F mentality.
Oh yeah.
And I almost think they had to keep him under wraps, and they said, because I was thinking, hey, you got to bring him out as somebody to do one of the press conferences, and they never brought him out. I'm like, okay, so you're like, no, hey, they're not ready. They're not ready for Steve.
I was hoping, but Carolyn's coming back. Fortunately, I would have loved to see him do one because that would have been fire.
It would have been about a 15-minute press conference. What else you got?
And there would have been no bad questions because Caitlin Collins would have probably just ran out of the room.
Hold on, let me get this queued up here. Make sure the sound is good.
What is your sense of where the court will go on birthright citizenship?
Well, look, I don't know where they're going to go. I'm not going to forecast it. Here's what I can say. Anybody who has read even 30 seconds of American history understands the Reconstruction Amendments after the Civil War were to ensure that the children of slaves would be franchised in the United States. The author of the 14th Amendment was clear in saying it did not apply to aliens. There should be a 9-0 ruling in a functioning democracy. The idea that you can have a country where you just set foot on U.S. soil and any child you have gets to be an American citizen and vote in our elections, collect our welfare, sit in our juries, sit in judgment of our fellow men and women is such an outrage to the idea of having a country. It defies description. I don't know what they're going to do, but here's what I can say. If this country doesn't, one way or another, end birthright citizenship, this country doesn't have a future. Citizenship has to be sacred and precious. And as we stand here on the 250th anniversary of America's founding, the idea that we wouldn't have in this country respect and sanctity for citizenship, for the voting franchise, is such an insult to generations of Americans who spilled their blood for our freedom in battlefields here and all across the earth, Will.
He ain't wrong. He's not wrong at all. Mic drop, walk away. I mean, I don't know. I don't think any of us knows which way the Supreme Court's gonna go down. I mean, I like Jonathan Turley. He seems to think there's no way they're gonna overturn it just because it's been too much precedence. But I don't know. We'll see, because it's been sitting there a long time. But even, it shouldn't be the way it's become, where you actually get to bring in your relatives and everybody else as well. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Or even if you're, well, I don't want to go there.
Everybody comes in. Hey, did you see what happened in Hawaii today? About 7 hours ago, the Supreme Court struck down the Hawaii law requiring people to get permission to carry guns in stores and hotels. It's not something I'm posting. I've just read it real quick.
I think I had it up here. I think
you do have it. Oh, okay.
No, I thought I did, but I may have not saved it. But
I have it here.
There were three different rulings that happened today, and one of them was that.
There you go.
Yeah, okay, hold on.
Just came in.
Let me bring it up, because that was, it's funny. You know how you know you're winning is because when they don't even talk about it. When
it
they don't
pops up in your feed.
Yeah, they don't even want to bring it up or anything.
And then the comments from the libnuts are like, they're losing their minds.
Struck down a Hawaii law requiring people to get permission to carry guns in stores and hotels. Yeah, they hate it. They absolutely hate it. I mean, open, is it open carry or just carry? Okay, they didn't even let you carry in there?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, if they had it their way, they would get rid of the Second Amendment. That way they can,
control
run over everybody.
Yeah, absolutely control you.
It's control. So, a good day. Had the Supreme Court ruling the 6-3, the asylums. That was, I posted about that on my X earlier. That was pretty good. So you can't have any.
You notice President Trump has been kind of quiet. He
actually posted something an hour ago, but it was pretty much the same thing about the Democrats. Do you have it?
Yeah. House Republicans should unify, stop voting down rules, and going on 3-week vacations, all that crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's had it. He's fed up. I mean, Tillis is saying now they can't do it. It's not going to happen. So it's like,
they're probably not going to do it. They're probably just going to meander their way. They don't want it at this point. Even who was it? The governor of Ohio, DeWine. They passed it in their own state to require voter ID, and he vetoed it.
And Florida, it is right. DeSantis approved it, right? Didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's why when people say people are going to move here and turn things around, I'm like, no, because they can't do it. That's just it. If you come down here, you got to show voter ID and not voter ID, but ID, and it has to match. So they know it's over, and so that tells me that there's some of these people are on the take. Why would you tell people they can't do that?
Illegal votes.
I wonder if they have enough to override him. That'd be very interesting.
Yeah. Hey, let's have a moment of silence for something that happened in Florida earlier today. Let's take a moment. The closing of Alligator Alcatraz.
I'm going to have to remove my
your pinned comment, right?
My pinned comment. Now it's been since the first pick in Alligator. I couldn't believe when I posted that. What is it? It's gotten 21 million views. 21 million views.
Oh,
and I just left it. Like, oh my gosh, that is absolutely too crazy. And
nice.
They tried to community note me. They tried to turn it in. I got it.
Really?
The people got upset about it, and they're like, "Well, that's not even Florida. That's Texas." No kidding. It's called satire, moron.
Yeah.
By the way, that's one huge beast.
That is.
They had to bring a crane out to get that thing. I mean,
The only bigger one I saw than that was one. I think it was some kind of famous one down in South. Is it South Carolina or was it Florida? They called it like Godzilla. It was a huge one. Walking across the golf course, right?
Yeah, he's down here.
It?
Everybody knows.
It's Florida.
Yeah. They don't mess with him. But this big boy was probably almost as big. I mean, how big is that claw on a one of those things? He's huge.
I mean, the crane went down a little bit when it picked him up.
He picked him up. He ate wherever that is in Texas. He ate very, very well, no doubt. Yeah, try to pick that thing up. And it's funny how the cops are backing up. So let me just back up just in case this thing falls out of here. Because if he falls out of here, he's going to be pissed off.
He's going to be mighty hungry. Oh my God.
All right, let me go on to what do I got next? Oh, I got a good piece coming up next. A lot of people, thank you. A lot of people had asked me, what is Rush, what did Rush Limbaugh think about this socialism? So I found a piece I'm going to show you next, right after I talk to you about chapter. Obviously Medicare can be quite confusing, not as confusing as stealing Medicaid money, but it's still confusing. As someone who turned 65 last year, I can confirm this. Keeping track of enrollment periods, understanding all your options, and making sure you're on the right plan takes a lot of time and energy. And between Medicare scams, corrupt agents, and bloated insurance companies, it's easy to make mistakes that can cost you thousands. That's why I'm happy I called Chapter and have been working with them. They're actually honest and the only Medicare advisor that looks at every plan nationwide, helping people save an average of $1,100 per year. It's almost $100 a month. Oh, people, I'm getting one of those weekly test things here. Hopefully nothing's going on. But they if you give them a call, they won't try to switch you into some plan you don't want. They're not going to make you buy something that doesn't work specifically for you, and their support is completely free. So if you're turning 65 soon or have questions about your Medicare coverage, give them a call at 475-328-3545 to get the most out of your Medicare. And by the way, it's one free 15 or 20-minute phone call. That's all you're going to have to take for them to let you know what they can do. And most people wish they just called sooner. Or you can go to their website, askchapter.org/Barry, to book a one-on-one 15-minute consultation. So give them a call, and I will see you in 90 seconds.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
There's no question that the power structure in this country today is aiming its fire at capitalism. And they're doing everything they can to inflict damage and to impugn it, destroy the credibility of capitalism. And we're heading down that path full speed. Now, in other parts of the world, depend on what parts of the world you're talking about. Europe goes back and forth on this. They're constantly in flux. The problem with it is, in the real world, socialism never works, and it never has, and it never will. It's not that the right people haven't yet tried it. It's not that we haven't spent enough money. Good Lord, we've spent $18 trillion in this country trying to create a utopia. So like I said the other day, $18 trillion, and 1/3 of that in just the last 6 years under Barack Hussein O. All for the express purpose of supposedly addressing all of the grievances that all of the minorities and all the roughshod and all the downtrodden have had. Obama has done his level best to pay back people who he thinks have been given the shaft since the founding of this country. And as I look out over the national landscape, I see more anger than there was 6 years ago.
Now, understand, Rush was saying this, I believe this was about 2017, 10 years ago. And he was seeing misery and anger that more than he had ever seen back then. Can't imagine what he would be saying about what he's seeing today. You see, New York saw something. They saw Zoran Mandami, the Democratic Socialist they put in City Hall. They saw his endorsed slate swept the Democrat primaries. And then now they're all over the news. 2 incumbents, long-standing incumbents, are gone. DSA chants at the victory party stated, "Free Palestine." Right along DSA, Democrat Socialists of America. Safe blue districts where nobody showed up. Do you realize they got elected with less than 7% of the voters? I don't understand how New York has such apathy, but that's how they win. It's not a mandate. They don't have any huge cause that they have to follow. They figured out what they needed to do was was basically just come out and vote because the other people won't show up. I guess we can't be surprised anymore because Rush warned us back. Oh, this was in 2015. I just happened to realize that. So take a listen some more.
I see more misery than there was 6 years ago. I see less happiness than there was 6 years ago. I see more unrest. It's culture and society is more volatile than it was 6 years ago. It's nothing new. We had upheaval in the 60s. We've had race riots prior to Ferguson. We've had all this stuff it's happened before. This is one of the frustrating things, that every time something like this happens, we have gone out of our way to, in one way, shape, manner, form, pay reparations. We've never.
That's so true. You know, that's their fallback now. Everybody on the left is crying about reparations because there's always going to be some grievance that they can push and blame on you and say, we need to get more of your money. We need to redistribute your wealth. Not to help people. Understand that. Reparations aren't to help people. The reparations are to punish you. Notice the difference between reparation and care. Reparations and aid. They don't talk about aid anymore. Now they specifically talk about what they can take from you and others to enrich themselves and victimize the very folks they claim to save. It's amazing to me when I hear them talk about reparations because that's all they exist on. Give us some more. And if you don't give it, we are going to take it. The giving part is your taxes, and if it's not enough, we're going to tax you some more because the poor peoples can't afford nothing.
Done that by name, but we've always gone out of our way to address the grievances of these minority groups. Name it, whether by grievance by race or whether minority by number or what have you. And no matter what we do, they're never happy. No matter what, there's never a thank you. There's never any satisfaction. The reason is it doesn't work. You cannot create utopia. It's not possible. It is humanly impossible. And yet people continue to try it. And the reason that they continue to try it is because it's the fastest way to cement themselves in power. They don't need it to work. In fact, that's the real indictment of these people. They know it isn't going to work, and yet they do it anyway because it's totally selfish.
Bingo. I love when I go and dig in the archives and try to find different things that he has said because it's amazing how still relevant all of this means. Every single word of what he's saying right now is absolutely true. That's why they hated the guy. He could see through their BS. And I just think back, what would he be saying right now? Pretty much probably the same thing. You're all full of crap. You know it doesn't work. We know it doesn't work. You know we know it doesn't work. You just bring around these sheep who keep voting for this stuff, praying like a lottery ticket. They want the massive handouts, anything you can give them, rent control, anything that makes them not have to succeed. Blame everything on the white man or the Republican instead of looking in a mirror. I swear these people don't have mirrors in their homes. When you look in a mirror and the stranger staring back at you, it's your fault. Unless you're physically affirmed or mentally affirmed, you can't do certain things. It's on you. Every single shortage, every single thought of lost freedom, it's you. And I don't mean you. I mean the people who are trying to take from you.
It's the fastest way to enrich themselves. It's the fastest way to consolidate power for themselves. The very people they claim to be looking out for, the very people they claim to be representing, are the biggest victims of their supposed compassion. And yet they don't pull back, they keep adding on to it. You would think after all this money, you would think after all of the grievances that have been addressed, you would think that all the attention's been paid, all the promises that have been made, you would think there'd be some measure of satisfaction, some measure of happiness, some measure of contentment, but there isn't. It's worse.
It has to be. I've said on this show many a times, I could drive back to certain neighborhoods in Connecticut and it's still a ghetto. They will continue to be ghettos. So if I'm 65 and I can take you back to neighborhoods I knew when I was in grammar school, and I can dial back the memory machine and we can drop into 1970 and I can go, hey, come over here. Let me show you where they're all hanging out. These days it wouldn't be too very hard to do because you could just find out and just Google where's Martin Luther King Drive in any neighborhood. Oh, that's where it's got to be. What a way to dishonor that man, by the way. We're going to put your name on the road here where everything you're going to see is complete crap. And guess what it was 10 years ago? Complete crap. Guess what it was 20 years ago? Complete crap. Guess what it's going to be 10 years from now? Complete crap. How is it possible? How have we poured billions, if not trillions of dollars into these inner cities to take care of the po peoples, and it still looks like crap? And then if you try to go in there, they say you're gentrifying the neighborhood. We can't have you doing that. And okay, well then here, keep your crap. They always need the grievance. And now this new socialist stuff is just a brand new idea that they're putting a new label on it. The other stuff didn't work. Maybe this time it'll work. And we get the rich white kids to support it. And the rich moms, the liberal white women. And we'll get them to support it. Oh yeah, the poor black peoples, we got to do something. I hate this step and fetch it crap. I really do. It's insulting. Only because you and I have lived through it. Rush lived through it. It's never going to change. It's like the Harlem Globetrotters playing the Washington Generals. It's never going to change. They're never going to win. They're just there to participate in the scam. You've seen the Harlem Globetrotters, and they're putting all this, and the white guys sitting there, and they always lose. It's designed that way. They are designed to lose. They are never supposed to win. That's what a lot of these communities are. Now these people are looking at it and they want socialism. They think that's the new catchphrase. We'll fix it with socialism. No, you won't. Trust me, 10 years from now, they're still going to be standing on a corner. It's disgusting.
So it's never going to work. It is impossible. It never has worked. The most prosperous nation in the history of humanity is this one. And that happened when it was, for the most part, full-fledged capitalist. This is resented by the left for a whole host of reasons we've been through over and over again. But your basic point about the debt is tied right into this. And it's why so many people are unsettled. And the very thing that's happening here, This nation was founded on the concept that the American people are whom the nation's built around and for. The nation was founded on the concept of individual liberty and freedom, and that flies in the face and is a great threat to socialists and totalitarians. And one of the fastest ways to take away liberty and freedom is to go in debt to the point that people have to pay so much in tax that they can never, ever accumulate any real wealth.
That's absolutely huge when you think about that in the realm of, again, he's speaking from the grave there, and everything he says is completely true. They want to keep taxing more and more and more. They want to take Elon's money. I heard Bernie Sanders say arguably the stupidest thing I've ever heard, but I realized as he was saying it, most of the people listening to what he said had no friggin' clue what he was talking about. He said, we want to do this additional tax. And when we do this additional tax, Elon's going to have to pay 5% more in taxes. And he was trying to euphemize it and everything else. And he's like, he's going to have to pay like an extra $50 billion. Which should be fine because they'll have that means he still has a paltry $950 billion. And then people laugh because, of course, it's an absurd number until you realize Elon doesn't have $1 trillion. And that's what the people in the hood and some of these morons don't know. Your net worth doesn't mean you're liquid to that. You may be a millionaire, but you may not have $1 million in the bank. But to the socialist, well, not to the socialists, they know. To the idiots following the socialists, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if your net worth is $1 million and you have to pay us percentage of your net worth. But what happens if the tax is, the tax comes at $2 million and I don't have $2 million in the bank? Oh, you have to sell some of your stuff then. See, they think because it says he's a trillionaire, that all of a sudden he's sitting on $1 trillion in banks. It's far from the truth. Or the other part they don't take into account is that SpaceX has dropped a lot from its IPO price, and he lost something on paper. He lost close to $170 billion in like the last week. Why? It's not real money. It's not, it doesn't exist. It's paper. And the paper today was worth this. The paper today is worth less. I talked to you a lot about Lear Capital. At least I have the silver. I have the gold. So if the price drops down, it's still the actual gold and silver is in my hands. You can't liquidate something that's just not there. And the Democrats don't understand that. They think he's sitting around with $1 trillion cash sitting someplace and they want it. And they'll never explain it to the idiots that, no, that's not how it works. You say he's a trillionaire, to them, you might be a 1 millionaire. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter. They don't understand it. They can't even comprehend. So let me go to the next part of this, because I think what's happened with the Democrats is that this entire thing that they've been going through has ended the Democrats.
But I do believe that this shows two things. First, Mamdani is a star. Anyone dismissing him is just naive and out of touch. He is one of the 5 most consequential Democrats in the nation right now, and people should treat him with respect. And the second thing is that the progressive movement is on the ascendancy in the House of Representatives and across the country. And the idea of just saying, oh, this is New York, is just not true. We've been winning in Pennsylvania, in New Jersey, in Michigan, in Maine, and this is really where the energy of the party is.
Given that, what did you make of your fellow Democratic Senator John Fetterman today when he was asked about these New York primaries? He said the dirtbag left is surging, I believe is how he described it.
Again, for me, if you want to heal a country, you can't be picking fights. I think we need to understand that our party is not homogenous. One of the things that makes the Democratic Party great is it's a big tent party.
How many times in the last 3 or 4 days have you heard this term, big tent, big tent, big tent, big tent, big tent? No, you can't fit everybody. See, that's just it. You cannot fit people who don't belong in your tent. I don't want to be in a tent with Tucker Carlson. I don't want to be in a tent with some of these other people, Candace. No, I don't want to. I'm not afraid to say that. These people right now, they can't figure out what they need to do, many of them. And so they're just like going along with it. Hey, we're a big tent. Everybody can say the same thing as long as we're all voting Democrat, until they realize, well, they're not voting Democrat. They want your head, Corey. They want your head, Hakeem. They want your head, Chuck Schumer. They're coming for you. One of them, one of the idiots that they follow, actually said, F Kamala Harris. They aren't Democrats. They are communists. And these people better wake up.
You need to stay that way. The focus has got to be the November election.
A few moments later.
Yeah, no, I mean, the kind of people that are trying to run out of office, I mean, they're just good traditional kinds of Democrats you would have expect in New York City now. And now this has just become, really, it's just been the dancing days of the dirtbag left,
When I heard them reporting on the dirtbag left, I'm like, did he really say that on television? Did he really come out and call these people the dirtbag left? See, right now is where we should get another order of popcorn and watch this new movie. This new movie just debuted, and this new movie that's debuting is watch them eat each other. Let's watch Godzilla and Kong go at it. We don't get involved with them. Just let them eat each other at this point. This ain't got nothing to do with us. That's where it's going to get fun. And it's starting to get fun already, because some of the Democrats are like, oh, no, screw these people. They're the dirtbag left. Whereas the real weak ones are like, oh, we need to have Mondami. He's a star. And I'm just watching this thing evolve over the last couple of days. Like, this is really getting good. I need more popcorn.
Some of these candidates are outrageous. You have candidates, they abolish ICE, abolish the police, abolish the border.
Too much.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, the bottom line.
All right. So you got John Fetterman, who's like, nope, don't want this stuff. Sorry, can't have it. And you got Ro Khan and Corey doing a little nut licking. Oh, everything's going to be fine. He's a star. It's a big tent. But now you're starting to see a shift. And you're starting to see a shift where, some of the people who realize, I kind of like my money, which is weird to me because Ro Khan has got like 250 million. But they are starting to realize, I don't want any parts of these scumbags.
New York City is not America, and that's what we're seeing play out across the country. Because to your point, Joe,
well,
yes,
it's America,
last night in New York,
it's not.
3 Democratic socialists did prevail in some of these very heavily contested primaries. But at the end of the day, that is not America. Let's not forget, you just mentioned the Mike Lawler race, Kate.
New York's not America. That's where they're going now. It's the biggest city in the country. It doesn't represent us, so let's put them back in a box. Hey, man, and even Joe is like, I don't know how we're going to do that. It's the biggest city in the country. But you can't backstroke enough to get away from the commies.
Conley won the Democratic primary in that seat. That's New York 17. That is in the state of New York, not the city of New York City. But we are seeing some really strong national security candidates with some really strong backgrounds that in other places where, you're not seeing this super progressive wing of the party take over the Democratic Party in that respect.
This is a spokeswoman. I've seen her on these shows many, many times, and she's very eloquent. She can state a talking line. She can just go with it. I've never seen her have that many. No, this has caught them by surprise. They don't know how to deal with it. And the powers that be, the puppeteers that want Mondami versus the puppeteers like, we don't want Mondami. They're conflicting at this point. And right now, you're seeing some of these people like the dirtbag left. They're trying to let everybody else know, I want no parts of this. So at this point, just stay out of it. Let's just watch them completely eat each other.
area, you're seeing those candidates prevail. So, look, Donnie's exactly right. Republicans are going to try to brand us as the Democratic Socialist Party. They're already doing that. They're going to say we're the party of Mamdani, we're the party of anti-Semitism. Those things are not true. You are seeing a very strong Mamdani coalition being built and endorsed and win in New York City. But that is New York City. It is a tiny part of America. That is.
I don't know how she came up with that. New York City is a tiny part of America. Excuse me, honey. It says there's 9 million people in New York City, not New York State, 9 million people in New York City. I don't think you can say that's a small part of America. So right now what you're seeing are Democrats are trying to put the socialists in a box. They don't count. They don't count at all. We're Democrats. We're across America. That's just New York City. Is it just a little bit?
Not what you're seeing Democrats do across the country in other primaries.
It's a pretty big part of America, if I may.
Well, yes. I mean, it is.
Even they're laughing at her. That ain't gonna work. We got to do something else, man. This ain't gonna work.
The largest city in America, but it's not,
Understood.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very, very clear. If the Democratic Party becomes the likes of Zoran Mamdani, who, by the way, I like, not trying to throw any shade on him or anything like that, but if the Democratic Party becomes him, you have no chance.
That's pretty much the definition of shade, isn't it? Telling him if this is what you got, we're done. Well, that's a whole lot of shade. That's like 12 umbrellas over the sun shade. You straight up threw shade on him. And you can't waffle. You see, you guys made this animal. You went to the pound. You went to Humane Society. You bought this 80-pound pit bull, and you thought you could just keep it in the closet, and it would only go after Trump. Stay right there. Yeah, Trump. Red hat. Red hat. Oh, yeah. And you never thought that big old pit bull would look at you and try to eat you too. That's what your problem was. You thought, you know what? Hey, Libby, I got your new chew toy. Here, Brutus, here. Yeah, hate MAGA. Hate MAGA. But then Brutus looked at you one night and said, I'm coming after you. And that's exactly what these people like Stephen A. are afraid of. See, make no doubt about this. They love their positions. He loves to make sure that people know he's Stephen A. Smith. And that big pit bull was never supposed to latch on to his black behind. And now he's like, hey, you're getting a little bit too close.
You have no chance on a national basis in terms of the presidency. In Senate seats in the House, you have no chance. You have no chance. I want to be very, very clear about that. You might have a Democratic Socialist sprinkled here and there, but that ain't what America is. America's about capitalism. America's about dollars and cents. America's about an economy, a flourishing economy. Okay? And you know what it's not about? Free stuff.
You should have thought about that a few months ago. Okay, Stevie? Because I agree with everything you just said. I completely agree with everything that just came out of your mouth. The problem is you can't be saying it now. You should have been saying that a long time ago. Hey, y'all can't ixnay with the capital communism. Hey, I ain't no more. We don't want that stuff. I like my stuff. I like my money. You ain't go.
Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it.
There are no refunds, bitch. I'm sorry. No refunds. Okay? You talked all that crap about Donald Trump until it got real. Now it got real, didn't it? Now you got these communists who are like, we're coming for you too. We can't do it without taking your stuff as well. It got real. And they're starting to realize it. Now, this is one of the idiots who just won her primary and is likely to get elected.
Cases in which migrants to New York have committed violent crimes, including murder, in this district. Under normal circumstances, undocumented defendants charged with crimes go through the system, And if convicted, they get deported before or after serving time. Ms. Chevalier, you recently said on WNYC radio that defendants who commit crimes should not be deported after serving time. Why is that?
Because we have a criminal system. It's an imperfect system. It's an imperfect criminal system that I've been critical of, but we have one. And if we truly believe in a system where we don't have double jeopardy on the basis of where someone was born, then we cannot also have a system of punishment that is unique to people who were born elsewhere.
I didn't make it up. I don't know what the hell she's saying. I don't think she knows what the hell she just said. I think somebody printed it up on a cue card and say, honey, when they ask you this question about people going to jail, you can't tell them what you really think. We don't think anybody should go to jail, ever. What about murderers? Nope. What about illegal murderers? Nope. Nobody goes to jail. Why? Because jeopardy and...
We need to make sure that if we really value equality in this country, that we are treating people equally.
I don't want any equality with a murderer. I'm sorry. Whether American or from Indonesia or from anywhere else, if you're a murderer, that kind of cuts the rope on equality. You're done. You've turned in your card on equality. I don't care. Go away forever. And you're talking about we have to be equals with murderers? What kind of crap is that?
Regardless of where they were born. It cannot both be that a person who has citizenship is tried and convicted in one way, and a person who does not have citizenship is tried, convicted, and then forced to also endure another type of punishment on the basis of where they were born.
64 days. Okay. So once you've been tried and convicted, then you've done your time, even though it's a second crime. You committed murder, and you can't get deported because you've already had a sentencing, even though you didn't get sentenced on being not supposed to be here. Be afraid from New Yorkers, but at this point, like I said, get a little popcorn because they're starting to freak out.
A year. Today, they will act like, and I hope you don't act like, New York City is the center of the world because it's a big country out there.
You know what? There's what's called badge branding. You know, you sell Chevrolets and you use Corvette to kind of sell the whole thing. And my concern, this is from a branding point of view, not a reality point of view, is that you now have the ability, I'm not talking about Fox News, I'm talking about if the Republicans are running against Democrats, no matter who the Democrat is, they say the Democratic Party stands for this. The Democratic Party stands for what these principles
Can I ask you this? How many points did Mikey Sherrill win by when we heard she was going to lose?
But now you have hold
on a second. How many points did Abigail Spanberger win in Virginia, despite being told, oh, the Democrats are all socialists, they're all left wing? It's the same exact thing, Donnie.
There's new news now. You have a real wave happening. Joe, I think the Democratic Party, and you've got now two Democratic socialists, is taking on an overall persona. This is where the energy is in the party. You and I can agree to disagree on this. I believe the Democratic Party overall is going too hard left. I believe there is anti-Semitism in there. We'll save that for another day. But I believe this is a branding issue for the Democrats that they are going to have to answer for. So we'll agree to disagree on this one.
It's obviously a challenge. It's obviously going to be a challenge, obviously, as they move forward to make sure.
Oh, it's just getting so good. It's going to be, like I'm telling you, it's going to be an internal fight. We just have to just watch from a distance and let them fight. They don't know what to do. And they're seeing this complete rift come between them that they won't be able to fix because it's ideologically too big. This isn't like us not liking what Tucker says. It's not like us not liking what Candace says. This is just almost like two different parties with one trying to take over the other. I haven't heard yet at this point whether Tucker's trying to create a new party. He might be, which is insane if Massey and MTG want to try that. But these people, way past that, they're already getting elected. And so they're going to be in Congress. They are going to be flexing their muscle. Mamdani's already out there doing it. And you got some Democrats who are for it and other ones want no part of it.
Congresswoman, in light of the wins last night in New York, be careful. Thank you. Is this the future of the Democrat Party? Is socialism the future of the Democrat Party? I mean, Democratic Party's always been diverse, right? I think that, people always want to claim it, but one of the things that I know this much, our Democratic base wants Medicare for all. They want universal health care. I can't express to you from even this housing bill that we're talking about, the number one issue and concerns is that our families are in survivor mode and they're exhausted and they want it to be better, right? And so many of the people may be Democratic socialists or not, but they're standing up and saying Medicare for all unapologetically. They're saying,
who? Where are all these people saying Medicare for all? They make it sound like it's an overwhelming amount of people. People don't want this crap. I'm sure in your district, in your neck of the woods, you probably have people saying, give me as much free stuff as possible. But that's not what America wants.
we need housing as a human right. They're saying, why are we investing in death and bombs and genocide when we can invest money here at home? And so I'm proud of them for being unapologetic about it. And I'm proud of them for listening, really listening to their constituents and running on those issues. And I can tell they're genuinely supportive of these issues. They're not doing it just for votes. They're doing it because of their own lived experience. That this is why our country is struggling right now with communities like mine and other places. It's not just Republican, Democratic districts, even Republican districts. So many of our families are exhausted. They're survivor mode. It's tiring. They want to be able to thrive. They want to be able to live their lives, raise their children, and be able to take a vacation or to relax. So I'm proud of them.
How do you thrive when you don't have anything? How are you taking a vacation at the same time you need Medicare for all, whatever for all? How do you need universal health care, universal child care, food stamps, and you're thriving and going on vacation? Those don't go together. If you can't afford your own health care, if you can't afford your own food, and you can't afford your own housing, no, you don't get to go on vacation. Vacation is a privilege. Did you notice how she lumped all that together? Oh, my people are struggling. They don't got anything. They don't have any houses. They don't have any health care. They don't have child care, but they want to go on vacation. Doesn't work that way, honey. That's a dream. Shake them and wake them up. There are certain things you're not going to be able to do. Oh, is that tough? Is that hard to say? I'm sorry. I'd love to go to the Riviera. I'd like to fly over there and hang out and look at the, baccarat tables where they're spending $1 million a hand. I can't do it. I have to admit, hey, Robin, you want to go to the Riviera? Or the other way around. I didn't want to go to Riviera. With who? I ain't there yet. Gotta make a whole bunch more videos.
In response to that, the DSA has a reputation of focusing too much on class and maybe downplaying race.
Yeah, I came to my politics of socialism, of democratic socialism, through a race.
She had to correct herself there. She almost lost the plot. I came to my senses about socialism, Democrat socialism. She had to say that because it doesn't exist. I told you that yesterday. There's no such thing as Democrat socialism. She's a socialist. And they're cosplaying right now, pretending like, hey, we're just Democrats. No, they're not. These are snakes that have infested the Democrat lair. And all we can do is just watch them eat each other.
Lens, right? I was doing a lot of reading of the Black radical tradition. I was doing a lot of organizing around ending mass incarceration, around immigration justice. I, was part of BYP 100, Black Youth Project 100, Families for Freedom, doing immigration justice organizing.
Man, that sounds tiring. How about just get a freaking job? She's in like 18 organizations and we're doing activists here and we're organizing and we're doing all that. How about you just go get a job? Being in Congress, I don't know what she's going to do with all her idle time. You're a congresswoman. What are you going to do now? You're getting paid to do nothing, but at least you're getting paid. But then again, how are you going to bitch about people needing money when you're about to make $175,000 a year sitting on your duff? Oh, don't talk about that narrative, huh? Follow her insider trading.
and a number of other organizations around racial justice and economic justice.
And a number of other, I don't want to be that busy. I don't want to go to 14 meetings a week and talk about, okay, how are we going to do this? We're going to do this. We're going to go there. That's their lives. They've created grievances as a career choice. I'm a community organizer. Whew.
And my research, my doctoral research is around a lot of these issues. And for me, racial justice and economic justice have always been inextricable. And that is how I came to a politics of socialism, right?
She said it again. She said it again. She forgot to put the qualifier, democratic socialism. No, I want racial justice, which is equal to economic justice, whatever the hell that means, because that's what being a socialist is all about. What the hell is racial justice is equal to economic justice? If I don't get your money, these people are crazy, real crazy.
And I think for DSA, I think they share a politics of socialism, and they share an infrastructure for electoral politics that I think would benefit all of our communities, right? And I think there's always organizing to be done. Sometimes you have to organize your own people, right? And as an organizer, I tell people to organize me, right? Because
You followed that organizing? Organize her, organize me. These people and these socialists and crazy people, they do so much organizing. They must have the perfect lives. There's your forks, there's your pens, there's your towels, here's your underwear, here's your socks, here's your dog food. You organize everything. Well, if you organize so much, then why haven't you figured out a way to get these people off the street and into jobs? How about you organize how they can become more productive members of society instead of trying to figure out how you can give them stuff?
We have to allow ourselves to be brought into that organizing work to actually be able to build the coalitions that are necessary to win power for all of us, right? And to actually, this question of how we talk to one another, right? I think it's deeply important that we're building multiracial, multi-ethnic coalitions of working class people that also center at the heart of it racial justice, because there is no economic justice without racial justice.
I know that was probably hard to listen to. You're like, Barry, please, why? Because you need to know where these people are coming from. But the good part about it is it's getting really good, because other Democrats are now, F these people. I don't want nothing to do with this stuff.
Oh, yeah, the New York Times reported, and I have the quote right here, I'll get to it. She is against, passed off all her views. She has attacked interracial relationships in the American flag. Lady, I ain't in the same party as you. I'm sorry. I just not.
They lost James Carville. Just think about that. Lady, I'm not even the same party as you. Now you're going after interracial marriages. I got a problem now. I got a problem. But you got a bigger problem. Democrats, I don't know how they're going to get away from this. I don't know how they fix this.
And I actually do think it's time for Democrats to talk the S word, schism. I really do. Everybody's always said, no, we're coalition, we're big tent. And there's just some shit that I can't be in the same camp with. And we talk about what Madame was 3 for 3 last night in Manhattan. They call it the Commie Corridor. Fine. Jason Crow's service PAC, vote vets, 10 for 11. You wouldn't know Jason Crow exists. Okay.
No, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know Abigail Sandberg exists. You wouldn't know. And I want to be very specific. I understand the free press for being here, because if they nominated David Duke or something like that, we'd be the same way. I understand all that. To the extent I understand the Times, because they are the New York Times, so they have to cover. They are the hometown newspaper. But the idea that we must neglect everything else that's going on, all of these other primaries, all the recruits Jason has, all huge, phenomenal successes we've had, and declare that the party is now under the control of the Democratic Socialists of New York City is insane.
Did you ever think that you'd be on the same platform, same side as James Carville? I heard this and I was like, huh. At least he knows. He goes, this is insane. These people are crazy. And as Fetterman said, they're a dirtbag left. Can you imagine being to the left, way farther to the left than James Carville? Did you ever think that was possible? Did you ever think you'd see James Carville bitching about Democrats? Because he knows these people aren't Democrats. He's smart enough in between drinks to know this isn't Democrat. These people are stealing and they're latching on to our stuff. And you've got certain people who are going to bow down to, to what they're doing. They're going to have to do this. But he knows what the next step is. The next step is they are going to want to control the DNC. They're going to want to control donors. They're going to want to get their hands on the money. See, they ran a little district in New York City. They only got 8 or 9% or 7% of people to show up, and now they basically are walking into Congress, and he knows what's coming next. He knows Mandami because you've seen enough of it in the last couple weeks, last couple months. Somehow he got Kathy Hochul to write him a big check. Why? Because he probably held her hostage, not physically, but probably said, here's what my people are going to do. We're going to take over New York. I'm keeping these nuts under control, which is probably true. They're ready to rip New York City apart if it's not for me. So you better give me $5 billion so I can do all the stuff I said I'm doing. James Carville and smart Democrats aren't under that same auspices. They're not going to be handcuffed by these nut jobs. But you watch what happens over the next couple months. As we move to November, they are going to try and take control of the DNC and the money, whatever money's left. Because right now, this is the important part. They've got their fangs in. Did you notice who wasn't really visible during all this? But now she's popped up again, and she's like, oh, this is fantastic. AOC wasn't out there endorsing these people in New York. She didn't want them to win. Now that they've won, I guess I got to put my arm around them. I guess I got to pretend like this is okay. She didn't want that. She wasn't campaigning for them. She knew this was a toxic cancer. And people like James Carville are sounding the alarm on the Democrat side.
But and understand, these people do not like Democrats. Not only are they not Democrats, they wish Democrats poorly. So I just cannot. Maybe there's a way that you can say to, I guess Mandami is the leader of it, is, you insist that, try to insist that the people that run under your banner run as a Democratic Socialist and don't use the Democratic Party as your guideline. And
see, go over there, go sit in a corner and see what you can do. We don't want you at our party. Big Ted. We don't even want you coming to the cookout. We want you to sit over there and do it on your own since you think you got it that well. He knows this guy is nut jobby as he is. He knows what's coming. He knows where that puck is going to be going, because even though the Democrats are underwater right now in terms of finances in the bank, he knows as it gets closer to November, there's going to be money being put into this coffer. And he doesn't want them to get their dirty little grimy socialist hands on it. They know where this fight is headed. We don't got to even do nothing. All we got to do is sit back and watch these people eat each other.
Let's negotiate the terms of a schism here. Maybe we can part under some kind of advantageous terms for both of us. But I'm done. I'm not in that fucking political party. I am totally comfortable in a political party that spends time questioning the policies of the government of Israel. In fact, I'm enthusiastic about that. I don't want to be in a political.
That's the other thing. So you can't be with them and have any sort of appeal to Israel. Israel, non-starter. They do not want you in protecting. They don't want you giving any money. They don't want anything going to Israel, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, period. They don't want anybody protecting Israel. They openly root for Hamas. They openly root for the destruction of Israel. They openly root for river to the sea type stuff. And if you understand what that basically means eliminate them. Not ignore them, not let them go out, eliminate them. And so even James Carville's like, I'm not down with that.
Party that denies the right of the state of Israel to exist. That's just not, I just can't do that. I'm sorry. It's just not doable. They are a great gift to Donald Trump.
As soon as I heard him say that, and I was, wow, a Democrat is saying that these socialists are a great gift to Donald Trump. Interesting. Very interesting. Because as I see more prominent people coming out, it's starting to make a little bit of sense to me.
But New York Attorney General Letitia James is striking a different tone, saying, quote, some of the candidates that he has supported are individuals who do not understand the politics of New York City. All of us are a little frustrated with the Democratic Party, but you don't blow it up.
Because think about that. Letitia James, who you know hates Donald Trump, who would do anything to destroy Donald Trump, she came out and go, y'all need to pump your brakes. No, we can't have this. So at this point, not to be overconfident, but you got to start thinking these people made a huge mistake. They let the Kraken come out, and the Kraken turned around and is eating them. It literally is Godzilla in calling at this point. We don't even need to get involved. Let's see who wins. What's the carnage going to look like? But I hope the socialists win. I really do. Here's why.
What is true in New York City in a Democratic primary ain't necessarily true nationwide with the general electorate. I mean, just take a look here. Net favorable rating of Democrat Socialists. If you look at Democrats nationwide, look at this. Democrat Socialists are on the positive side of the ledger at plus 17 points. This includes Democratic-leaning independents. But look at all voters. A completely different world. 27 points underwater Democratic Socialists of America are in the net favorable rating. So what are we talking about? A 44-point difference here in the wrong direction when we come to Democratic Socialists of America, jumping from being pretty popular among Democrats to being not popular at all among all voters.
What about just the word socialist or socialism? How's that doing?
Yeah, okay. So, you know, one of the trends that we have seen is among Democrats, socialism has become more popular over the last decade and a half. But what about the rest of the electorate? And this, I think, gives the game away right here. Okay, positive view of socialism. Among Democrats, look at this. Up considerably from where we were in 2010, 50% to now 66% now. That's a jump of 16 points in a decade and a half. But look at all others. The number is the same. It was 29% back in 2010. It's 30% now. Socialism has become increasingly popular among Democrats, but it is a much tougher sell in the rest of the electorate. It's a much tougher sell among independents. Take a look at the trend line, that favorable rating among Democrats on socialism and look at this. In 2010, they were about equal. 50% had a favorable view of socialism. 51% said the same about capitalism. But capitalism has absolutely fallen through the floor. Look at this. It's now just 42% of Democrats who have a favorable view of.
As you're seeing these numbers, now you know why people like Carville and Letitia James and others are like, that works in your little corner of the world and your little craziness where you can get your little organizing and you can do it in a small district, but you are going to be kryptonite to the Democrat Party. Now, the Democrats should have stuffed a sock in this guy, Mamdani, months ago. They should have not even let him be a candidate. You should have got behind Cuomo. That would have been the smart thing to do. Let Cuomo be. Nobody likes him either, but he wouldn't be doing this. And so now you've got these people ready to take on your entire party. Good luck with that.
Capitalism. Socialism, on the other hand, up like a rocket. Look at this. 2 in 3 Democrats have a favorable view of socialism. So socialism is on the rise among Democrats. Capitalism is on the decline among Democrats. And again, this is part of the longer-term trend in which we are seeing Democratic socialists doing considerably better among Democrats, electing a mayor right here in New York City, for example.
And as we said, there are primaries next week with Democratic socialists, self-proclaimed, on the ballot. What are the prediction markets saying about how they may do?
Yeah, this to me is one of the more stunning trends, right, that I have seen in covering politics over the last
How did that happen? How did it go in 15 years where now there's all these people now want socialism in 2010 to 2025? It's pretty simple when you go back and look and say, what happened in 2010? What happened in 2012? What exactly happened that caused all of this to occur on the Democrat side of things? Well, his name's Obama. This wasn't by accident. It took them 15 years to launch their insane plan, but now they're at the point where they want to launch it, and they don't care if they're going to cannibalize the rest of the Democrats.
15, 16 years. And if you believe the prediction markets, it's not going to just stop suddenly. It may extend into...
Bad. So I'm going to close with just a very comedic piece. I may have to play this a couple times because this is Claire Valdez, one of the other ones who got elected. I say elected because she's going to win in November. They're going to basically be unopposed. They're going to squash anybody running against them. So she's probably going to be in office. Listen to what she says here on this podcast. It will chill you to the bone. Okay, listen to this.
My hot take is we need to abolish pre-check. I've got like a million beefs with the airline industry and the process of having to fly. We need to nationalize the airline industry. But let's start by abolishing.
Did you catch that? They don't want people getting checked at airports. I realize, this woman's probably 26, 27. She probably was a very young kid when 9/11 happened. Does she even know who did it? Why they did it? How TSA and pre-check came about? Does she even have a clue how that came into place? You and I remember getting on a plane was easy. It's funny. You used to be able to smoke on an airplane. You didn't have to worry about some guy from some other country who's a communist or some, nut job blowing stuff up. And now here we are in 2026. We don't need that. We don't need checking anything.
My hot take is we need to abolish pre-check. I've got like a million beefs with the airline industry and the process of having to fly. We need to nationalize the airline industry. But
I'm not getting on any plane run by a government, especially their kind of government. I don't want no DEI pilots. I don't want any DEI people putting baggage on stuff. I don't want to know nothing about that. I'll drive, take a train. I do not want to go on DEI airlines. Can you imagine you get on an airplane like, who's that? Oh, that's the pilot. What's his name? Abdullah Magula. Keep my seat. I'm out. I'm out. And you're not checking any of his bags. Nope. Everybody can get on. That ain't gonna work. That ain't working for me. I don't know. SV, you getting on that plane, man?
Hell no. I was just saying that DEI planes land upside down like the one in Canada, remember? I ain't getting on that one, man.
At least they check the luggage. They scan people. I'm like, wait a minute. So you don't want anybody being checked. And it was funny watching the other girl. Like it was some great idea.
Oh, yeah. Clapping seals. Ollie snack bar.
How about it? How about you go first, honey? Okay?
Yeah.
You go first on the non-checked airline and let us know how it goes. Because I'd love to see how your flight's gonna end. Can you even imagine getting on a plane where and the bad guys know nobody's checking? So no pat downs, not going through the little machine. You can just get out. Just go ahead and get on the plane. I'm not doing it. but see, that's probably the whole part about it, is to get people not to fly, because everybody would like, I'll pass. I'll drive. No way. All right.
All right. I have a couple things real quick. Yeah, I have. So the National Guard and National Park Service completely shut down the reflecting pool there, so they can affect the repairs. So there'll be no more further vandalism, or no more like blow up, allergy fighters, that kind of thing. So they're going to keep it hands off from the crazy lefties.
See, that's what I was talking about, the fence. So I guess they are putting up the rest of the fence and shutting it down.
Well, I think it's where people come in, and then they're going to, like, I don't know if they're going to put around the whole thing, because that's going to be quite some fence. But they're going to definitely be on guard there. And then what was the other one I sent? I sent you a couple things.
Can you imagine we're having to have National Guard at a freaking pool?
I know.
The National Guard, instead of looking for bad guys and everything, we're watching a big pool because these people can't contain themselves. Now, before
wasn't on my bingo card, Barry. That wasn't on my bingo card this year.
Now, before you get to the next story, I'm going to set it up. Okay. Let me set it up. So, hold on. Don't go anywhere. So, a couple of days ago, let me see what the date of this was. This was June 24th. This was on June 24th. This story came out. June 24th at 12:42 p.m. So today is June 25th. One day later, it says, huge news. The United States Postmaster General has just told Congress that the post office will not deliver mail-in ballots in the 2026 midterms to states who refuse to comply with President Trump's election integrity executive order. This order makes sure mail-in recipients are citizens and are who they say they are, on top of making mail-in voting more secure. Again, I'm going to bring you to the timestamp. This was put up at 12:42 yesterday. So now SV's got another story.
Can we do the meanwhile?
Meanwhile, 24 hours
just
later.
in.
24 hours later, somehow they got in front of a judge, and bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. The U.S. Postmaster General has now been blocked from withholding mail-in ballots from blue states who enable voter fraud and let illegal aliens vote. So, yeah. So it looks like the judge was Indira Telwani.
Is that the same one? Is that her again?
I'm going to make a little guess that she was not born here. I'm going to take a guess.
Hold on,
I'm going to have to drop that one.
How did they do that so fast? They must just sit there and wait for things to come out. They obviously just sit there and try to figure out what's next or something, you know?
They're like working at 7-Elevens. Hello, my name is Indira Telwani.
Okay, hold on. Let me play this. Hopefully the volume is okay on it. I might have to adjust it.
Okay.
But here's the information.
This fight over the Save America Act, the president wants to rein in mail-in voting. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, actually, a big decision came out today. In fact, Shannon, a few hours ago, a federal judge blocked the president's executive order on that, declaring it unconstitutional. Yesterday, we saw the U.S. Postmaster General told the Senate he planned to hold back those absentee ballots from states that refuse to comply and provide voter rolls or folks that were eligible to receive those absentee ballots. The administration is arguing that this would have curbed voter fraud ahead of the midterms. Democrats said that it was totally unacceptable. We did try to get a response from a White House official today. Haven't heard anything on this just yet. Shannon?
Man, they're fighting really hard to get illegals voting. I mean, wow. Not even 24 hours later. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I am incorrect, though. She was born in 1960 in Englewood, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So her father, Manique Telwani, was a geophysicist who immigrated from India, making her a daughter of immigrants. So she is a citizen.
All right. Well, at this point, the Supreme Court shouldn't go on vacation because it's just going to be a constant. Now I'm thinking some of this stuff may get on the emergency docket because they'll probably be in court by Monday appealing
Yeah.
this stuff. It's just all it is road bumps, road bumps, and road bumps. That's all they're
Oh,
going to
yeah.
keep going.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Trump just posted True Social, if you want to bring that up.
Okay.
Talking about the July 4th. He had pictures on it too, showing all the crowds at the 250th last night.
Oh, he posted another one quicker than that. Hold on. So,
is there another one?
Yeah,
Oh.
there's another one. So the one you got is
Here we
actually
go.
20 minutes ago. It's this one. It says last night, and it dovetails off of the earlier one. 45,000 people. July 4th will be a step beyond anything you've ever seen. The military flyovers will be the best ever. The most planes, the newest planes, the fastest planes. I'll be there to speak about our great country. And he's got even more pictures. Simply amazing. So
that was packed last night. That was awesome. I couldn't believe it.
Absolutely.
The music was. I mean, the chat loved it. Everybody had a great time. It was a good time by y'all.
And then 5 minutes ago or 8 minutes ago at this point, he posted this. And let's bring this up. The communists are finally making their move. I've been waiting and preparing for this day a long time. It's easy to be a communist. All you have to do is say, I'll give you everything. But that means you're taking it away from others that have earned it. Over thousands of years, that ideology has not worked once. The game is on. Enjoy watching. Oh.
More comms.
Oh, man. The part that he goes, I've been waiting for it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I expect a clandestine poster to be coming out tonight, so I'm gonna look out for
I've been waiting and preparing for this for a long time. Oh my gosh. What could he well, I can tell you what one of the things might be. One of the things, they may be walking into a trap, because I could see having to do something with Andrew Jackson or something really drastic because it's national security. You got, I don't know if you know this, but I don't know if people in chat know this, but the one thing you have to swear on, it's okay if you use a Quran, it's okay if you use a Torah or a Bible, but you have to swear. And that oath is you have to swear to uphold the Constitution.
That's correct.
I wonder if they're going to block these people, even if they win, from being seated. There is so much stuff that they have said, so many things that they have openly said and been recorded, where they openly say they hate America, we got to change this, and none of this stuff. Well, you're telling people you hate the country and you hate the Constitution. If you hate the Constitution, how are you going to swear? How are you going to swear to it?
Right.
My duty. Let me see if I can find the actual
traitors, man. Traitors.
What do you call it? What do you call it? This what you swear to? Swearing.
The oath.
Oath for. Hold on. Let's see if we can find oath for congressman. And let's look at it before we go. And
all right.
See if we can. All right. Yep. I pulled it up. Okay. We do have it. Okay. So let me know if the commies that you have been seeing could even swear to this. Where am I? I got so many windows open. Is it this one? Nope. It's not that one. Is it this one?
I hear ya.
Is it this one? Is it this one? Where the hell did I do? Okay. It's this one. All right. So from what you've seen thus far from these people, here's what the actual oath is. The actual oath is, where's that speak? Okay. This one.
Right here.
All right. All right. So the oath is members of Congress are required by Article 6 of Clause 3 of the Constitution to take an oath to support and defend the U.S. Constitution. And here's the specific wording. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's huge. I mean, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and I will and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me, whichever God you're going to swear to. But the bottom line is, you have to swear to uphold and swear allegiance to the United States.
Well, that's pretty rich, because most of them don't do that.
Well,
they're all traitors.
That's because the government has not enforced that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he's saying under my president, under my presidency, I may go for it. It goes down here and it says requirement. No members, okay. No member is permitted to take their seat or vote on legislation until they have subscribed and taken this oath. So maybe he's planning on not letting them take office because they're going to have to openly swear allegiance to the Constitution. And they want see. Here's the difference. Like you said, there's been other people that we have doubts on what they're doing at this point, but they did have a volume of work that basically said we hate America. These people have spent years and years and years organizing and doing the stuff that they did, and I don't know how they get around it at this point.
Well, Omar Elan, she's a good example. I mean,
yeah, but she didn't say her craziness until after she was in office. Same thing with Rashida Tlaib.
Yeah.
They towed the line. I'm here. And America, it's the land of opportunity. All these socialists have been doing nothing but trashing America. If you don't want to put murderers in jail, how are you going to uphold the Constitution?
Well, there's the thing. I mean, they're not defending the Constitution. I mean, they're not. I mean, it's how see again. It comes down to kind of like the teen takeovers and all that other stuff going on. You have to have consequences for actions.
Yeah.
So when is that going to happen?
Hopefully soon.
I'm hoping. Yeah, hopefully soon. Anyway,
all right.
It's going to be probably a busy weekend.
Yeah, I would think so. All right, so I'm going to do super chats and then we get out of here and go have dinner.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you, brother. All right, everybody, let me do the super chats and then off to the after party. And let me move this around. Okay. Democrats were worried about AI, but they are worried about a lot of jobs being open. AI problem solved. Exactly. A whole bunch of bedpan washers are going to need. G. Fisher, after winning just 13% of counties in 2024, Trump cutting off all their illegal cash sources and Mondami taking over the rest. They're finished. Truly. That G. Fisher, G. Fisher again. We need a major get out the vote campaign for every future election. That's the key. Let's do it. That's where you have to do it in your own area. You're going to have to take control at this point and do it wherever you live. Make sure, because they won with go look at the margins. Go look at how little votes they needed to take over New York, that district. Chiosop, imagine how much worse the fraud would have gotten if Kamala was installed. This country would be bankrupt by now and they'd be stealing IOUs and we probably would have got invaded or something. What's this? Teresa. Barry, an older woman at a shopping center in Licking County. Is that really a county in Ohio? In Licking County, Ohio, getting signatures to stop the data center coming here. Someone said it would raise prices, utilities. True opinion. No, because everything that they've said about the data centers is they have to be self-contained. They have to have their own power source. So no, they won't. Well, they shouldn't. I shouldn't say won't. I don't know the area, but they shouldn't be causing higher prices in the area because they bring their own power plants. That's what everyone's been told. And ask her, when you want to really throw in there, Tizzy, and say you're against data centers. Yeah. What are you going to do with this data that you're taking? All these signatures. What are you going to do with it when you're done? Well, I'm going to go upload it to a data center. That's how stupid they are. That's how very stupid they are. When will you be sending the hats to those who won them? Ashley says, my address is in the form. Not sure what that means. Thank you, sir. You sure be getting it relatively soon. They're going out. There's people in the chat who have gotten theirs. So, yeah, relatively soon. If not, hopefully your name is and address is correct. I can't control that. Thank you. Chiosop, AOC thought Cuomo gave cash to Amazon as a tax cut. Idiot. Dems licking Mondami's boots to try to survive getting primaried. Yep, that's for sure. Hold on. Is that SB? Wait.
Hold on. Let me check and make sure nothing happened. What do we got here? I guess that's what he said. I don't know. I can't see. Toes Rio, aloha. You said after Fakasi got it, you would and you would send a hat. Please send. I hate cold paper route mornings too. Well, if Fakasi got his, then you know yours is out there as well. Alex Travel Insurance, 1,500 month, cash visit 205. I think I'll take cash. I don't know how many of you are in a position to do that, but if you are in a position, you should ask your doctor if you go, what the difference is between a cash payment versus insurance. You're going to be quite surprised, quite surprised. Chiosop, all the programs Democrats want are for fraud. Absolutely. Chiosop, thank you again. Commies are a plague of locusts. Democrats are next. Just watch them eat each other right now. Do yourself a favor, puff, and watch the love and laughter coming from the FIFA visitors on YouTube. Absolutely great. Absolutely wonderful. You will learn that the yellow school buses do exist and they love the United States. Yep, they do. Yeah, awesome show. Thank you for all the work you do. Today met a neighbor and we talked about fixing America. She agreed. Spread MAGA felt so good. Yeah, we gotta do it. Chiosop again. Is it on the screen? Hold on. Let me move it down. Please, all buns in the upper baggage. all bombs in the upper baggage area. The mistake was letting Bernie in. Yeah, Bernie's probably got a raging hard on right now because he's so happy that some of his people won this past weekend. What an absolute moron. It's so bad. All right, everybody, I will see you tomorrow.